course, with the changes to the guns, the agents and such, there's, you know, all up in the air. But for the moment, Abyss is the only map in the game, and I believe ever, to have a positive win rate for the attacking side. So, is that something that you want to hold on to? Not really. Obviously, you want to get those rounds on the board, but at least it's something. It is, you know, kind of that consolation aspect to go, well, at least it's the only map in the game currently that actually does favor the attackers.
That is true. That is true. Again, a bit of sugar coating never hurts as well, but...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, 3 rounds. 3 rounds, right? It's Boars. They've been down worse. We've seen them do large comebacks, or at least in my experience, I think all the way back when I started casting, Boars was one of the teams to be feared of. And definitely, I imagine they still carry that title. So, you know what? Let's not give the 3 rounds away as just an instant loss. For now, we're just going to have to see how they respond. And, well, that's Kalash already picking things up with the opener here. First pick for Boars here for a change of pace. Azube is quick to return it. However, it is a nice 1-for-1 deal. And considering the guns we have on both ends, it's a very good exchange.
It's a very good exchange as well, because look at the players that were lost. KO is lost, is traded for an Omen whenever you've still got Astra on the side of the defense. Like, that's a pretty big deal. It's the only or one of the only initiators. The triple initiator setup does give quite a bit of space, but it's a big opener for that. It's actually, sorry, it's the Waylay that's gone, not the KO. Apologies, but the Waylay gone means the entry has taken quite a bit of a hit, and the defense could just use that to advantage. They're instead playing around this flank angle, playing around this control. We'll see how the Cosmic Divide does work that out, but it's all really down, I would say, to this flank from Javelin at this stage.
Fighting it on down again. The Cosmic Divide really coming in handy to try and keep the streak going. Again, I don't think you should really try and harbor utils, especially when it comes down to ultimates. Use them as fast as they can, especially if they can be effective. But now being tracked on through, it could allow for some sneaky shots to come around. The KO pushing forward, but 6K9 needing only 1 shot reach, supporting him in the back lines as it's all crumbled down in Million Followers with their 4th round in a row now. And again, just extremely well between each other. Right? We saw in that moment, Boars got a bit overstimulated, I would even say, right? They went into this gunfight, they didn't really know what exactly to look at. On the meanwhile, Million Flowers just positioned themselves, covered each other's angles. They were good and set to go.
We did kind of say that that would likely, you know, be the case. We are getting to that stage now where it is just confidence, cohesion, working off of those crossfires, those angles, and when it's Abyss of all maps as well to kind of make it to the end, that it survives the pick and ban, it does kind of say that both teams are wanting to play that sort of angle or wanting to play that sort of style. And currently, as you said, Million Flyers looking comfortable with it. A big miss though from the off, and Kalusha just stuck here. Okay, a run and gun and a spray to match it up as well. Kalusha keeping the control. 6K9 having no clue he's there as well. All of this positioning just being worked off, not even having to swing off the back of Neverfear. He's good for 1 as well, and suddenly Nizers has just watched his entire team crumble.
Wow, now left standing alone again with an op. That can be a bit of a two-edged sword, especially if you don't find the value you want off of it. If it's picked up by the enemies, it's going to be you giving them money essentially by the end game, and once sneaking around the corner, you're able to execute him. That's a body shot, and again, a point-and-click adventure that the gun is. You pick up the knife, you go for a bit of a jog. You know this round is going to be yours to capitalize off of, and considering that you're the chamber in a 1v3, this might be a round for Boars to claim. I do also respect, you know, they're not pushing forward, they're not peeking. They're going to be very true to their strategy and just playing it safe because they're already 0-4 down. They don't want to extend any damage.
No, they cannot really afford to at this stage. If you do give anything up, I mean, yes, you're playing chamber. You've got the tour de force just to kind of cheat out an additional op. So that is a factor. But yeah, as you said, really choosing to supplement the opposing team for 4,700 credits turns out not ever really a good strategy in Val.
No. 10 seconds and we spoke about it at the start of the match, where some of the changes into this new patch note 12.0 aren't necessarily added. Again, the gun, the new gun, the bandit being banned, and we also have Breeze not inside this comp map pool. There are still things that we could not revert, and it's the agent buffs. I do want to call out that, of course, Million Flowers are using Teo. He did get a bit of a buff. I do believe his drone, even though it's not necessarily his scouting drone, it's not necessarily buffed as with Vision Vise. It has a smaller range of vision, but I do believe the change out is that it has better tracking, because back in the day, or before his recent changes, it used to give a bit of a snapshot of information. Now it gives clear full body tracking information, and there's a similar change to him with one of his... I'm unsure which ability it is.
It's I can step in if you wish, brother.
Yes.
Because I've got that.
Please.
Yes, I can. So that's what we were talking about earlier. So that's the special delivery. So it now concusses for less amount of time, but it does actual damage. We'd already actually seen that come through. It was an engagement, I believe, 2 rounds ago. So Tejo has got quite a bit of a change just on those listings, as you're mentioning, Puffo.
Yeah. And it forces players to move, right? Because no one wants to take damage. You can take a concuss and hope for your teammates to hold you, but in the meanwhile, we have to focus on what's happening right now, right? Million Flowers, again, extremely chargative, just going forward. We do see a conversion path sent out both ways, for a matter of fact, so a counterway to Kalosha, but I don't think that's going to matter much because Azume and Zetros are just putting bullets where they belong. A missed opshot. The Headhunter won't claim its mark, and that gives Rare an opportunity to pick up that Bulldog, use it to its finest, find an operator, upgrade, and just back off. It's going to be a good save, even though a round for Million Flowers and a dominating one at that. That Chamber should not have played alone.
Yeah, that's we've been looking at it, and I don't want to obviously say it so early. Nicers though, looking like he maybe does need the bit of a warm up. The op shots haven't quite been landing as maybe decisively as you'd hope. We've seen a Headhunter shot or two, don't get me wrong, but the op not quite doing him his favors. And when your ultimate is literally another one, you do kind of need to get that space or that positioning. But the rest of Million Flowers, you were talking about just like how decisively that round was done, Puffo. As soon as the spike is down, their positions are relevant. Their support for everyone is very, very clean and crisp. Reach going down as well, a little bit of economy damage done, but basically 5 in a row. And the op actually dropped as well. That's a big, big deal. And I was about to say, maybe we want to start considering seeing a timeout.
Yeah, timeout here is definitely going to be a healthy one. Again, you're already 4. Even though you have been able to claim up a round, Boars haven't been able to kick themselves off of it. That's normally the issue. When we see such upsets in the early set of the match, normally when you win your first round, you also expect to continue winning so you can break down the enemy's economy. But if that doesn't happen, which clearly Million Flowers instantly shut down that momentum, you're going to need a timeout. You're going to need a moment to breathe, talk with your coach between the players, and get a mental reset so you can continue going into this match a bit more plausibly. Especially because, again, even though I can say it isn't granted, Million Flowers have been getting into the side extremely easily. And again, that is kind of the positive going into Abyss, but there isn't much of a fight we get to see at all. And also, another thing I've noticed, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, Matante, but I don't think I've been seeing the full value of the KO knife or even the flash being used.
I was honestly about to bring that up, that whenever you're running this kind of double initiator, double controller setup that we are seeing from Boar, it is very, very important to have that your one initiator, or your kind of one true initiator, be going in, because there's no real other flashes here. There's no real other kind of big slowdown mechanics, and I believe that's what Million Flowers have really been capitalizing off of. They're not running onto a site and getting flashed by a KO flash. They're not getting suppressed midway through an attack and then, you know, losing valuable utility. The KO isn't quite getting the value that he needs to, because he excels at shutting down like aggressive plays. He excels at shutting that down and catching your opponents off, but Million Flowers are not giving themselves that opportunity to be caught out just yet. Meanwhile, you're running, you know, essentially the triple initiator. Waylay, of course, is duelist, but can do quite a lot of initiator things with her utility, so you got to consider that as well. The composition difference here seeming to make a huge difference.
Yeah, and let's not even mention the fact that Zetros has been just walking players down. He is quickly shut down, but again, this gives a bit of an opening, right? We see these initiators now play. A huge shutdown coming in from Javelin, however. We were speaking about him a bit too much. He heard us on broadcast, decided to zip up our mouths. The KO has now been put in action, found himself too, but one more stands, right? It's going to be Nizers. Again, that op being carried. The Chamber has certainly done some damage with it. Not as much as it has been passed down to the enemy team, but a spike right in front of you, very tempted and hopeful that you don't get shot out. Now that information from the utility throne is going to give away Javelin's spot. You can hold that as much as you want. The flash is going to be a bit irritating to deal with, I imagine, but he's just wasting your seconds, right? You only have 30 remaining. There's still a couple of players left, and not much of a way out of this, I'm afraid. So unless the Chamber finds himself a miracle in a post plant, which of course can easily be done. We hear it going down. Maybe a shot dart prepped up to deny it, but will be a bit too late. He's able to walk away unscathed, even targeted, and now going back, trying to reach a closer distance, but Troyzy just shuts him down on the back jump.
Yeah, very, very sneaky to kind of do that double back there, but Troyzy on the delay kind of swing from his team. Yeah, he's got the timing perfectly. He's got the little little bit fortunate, don't get me wrong, that just the timing worked out, but again, players at these levels, they understand where they're going to need to be holding. They understand the plays and the counter plays that, you know, necessitate getting that additional round off the back of it. So very nicely done. Good for them to put a second round on the board. Need to do a bit more, and unfortunately, the last time they got a round on, it wasn't any sort of like momentum builder. It was just kind of a one and done. They want to break that streak this time. They kind of need to, based with all the ultimates they've got as well, and it looks like they want to put these ultimates to good use. The lockdown, or the null command, sorry, maybe coming through. Troy's is already in for one, but the flash from Reach is so solid. The rest of his team can't back him up. Kalusha now being forced to kind of run away, backs off into the special delivery, but keeps his life just barely, and Javelin not able to find anyone just now.
An eye for an eye. This means Million Flowers are still going to attempt to bait out a bit of aggression, but again, the rotation will be imminent. We have the spike heading towards B. The plan is already set in motion. Now, how well Boars are going to read into it? They already seem to have a bit of a precaution set up, right? One holding them down mid, so the second they're going to try and get themselves a connection towards B, it will be crossed out by Fear here. We're seeing him right towards that top mid, which again, not necessarily anticipated, but with the amount of information a single player can give off, it's going to completely ruin their plan, right? We also send the Hour Drone just to affirm our suspicions, and now Rare is going to be right around the corner where they're already shocked, not understanding the situation. That's too good for them. And also the spike drop just puts extra pressure on the fold. More shots towards Azume as now you feel locked in that corner. Can't go without a challenge. Javelin's ready to take you out. A bit of a scalp spotted, not able to lock down the shot. But again, two players here for Million Flowers, and it's starting to look desperate. Really starting to stink of it as Rare. I mean, he just keeps on wanting more. Nizer's even going to take up an opportunity. Just try and find someone. It's the best he can do in a match such as this, but Rare, sadly, or rather happily for himself, but sadly for Million Flowers, finding Azumi, and with that, we have ourselves a round back for Boars.
Yeah, able to do two on the trot. I did just say that's what was necessary, and that's exactly what they have done. Oh, the timing for Nizers here probably still going to work out for Kalusha, unless a kind of, you know, quick 180. Yeah, very nicely done. Gets another ult point onto the convergent pass there, indeed. And we're seeing there a great example of the Abyss rework for anyone that hasn't seen it. The doorway no longer at the back of the hallway and library towards the attacker side spawn. It's now kind of up closer to that door in tower, up towards the mid, those kind of shelves there. So creates a completely different aspect of how you want to navigate around mid, how you want to kind of make your presence known, and how you want to keep that controlled. And honestly, from the defense side of the Boars, done very, very cleanly. Rare sneaking up, you know. They've made the read that the push has been quite aggressive. The stacks have been pretty consistent, and they want to still keep that going based off of this aggressive defense. With a B site completely cleared out, they will have to check the A site, or the mid, sorry, but they know that the A site is going to be the place to push.
Yeah, again, but the Astra smokes here really doing their work. In the meanwhile, Nizers with the tour de force finds the leg shot. That is just unfortunate. He can't finalize it. And in the meanwhile, then Fear is going to pick up S6K with that shock dart. A push forward here from Zatros to find himself the first going in for Million Flowers. But again, you've lost the count of 2-4. That not the greatest of an investment, but it is a post plant, and the Guardian can still do its job. Javelin down, but not fully out. Information Troisy just bait him out. That's going to be Reach, gone for the count, and only 2 players here to remain for it. Zatros is really attempting to bait anyone out, but of course the KO will be picked up in the meanwhile. A second swing from Troisy to find himself yet one more, and now it's all left in Azume's hands. Doesn't have the ultimate, and again, the man count is what matters most. The gun even worse, and you're trying to do the best. A couple of his shots, but Troisy picks it and finishes as the 4th round here for Boars.
4th round, and while nicely played from them, don't get me wrong, like the position in there to kind of get the retake was nice. I can't help but think it was really decided off of the back of that tour de force wallbang instead of a direct body shot. Had Nicers managed to land that shot, that's 1 player down. They can get out at that point, but instead the shot, meaning they tried to follow it up, they swapped to the headhunter, and of course it was their head ended up getting hunted, and that was definitely a factor into how the rest of that defense, how the rest of that attack went. And it looks like we're still doing the same attack style again. The super aggressive teleport in, it catches the special, it catches the drone lovely off the back of the flash, but somehow it's actually the attacks, it's Million Flowers that walk away with 1 extra player still in their back net, and they look to be set up towards this A site. The rotates have come through from the Boars, but still now just waiting for them all to burst through, and here it begins.
Rare is going to be a bit late to the party, but matters not, right? NVR Fear is going to be taking care of the most. Find himself already too. That's going to be the entirety of the site basically cleared up. Another one for the lineup, and all that's left will be once more zooming in a 1v1. Speaking of which, Rare a bit too far away, but still has the opportunity to try and capitalize off this 1v1. There is the Cosmic Divide within thought, I imagine, from both these players, but might be better to just reserve it for the next round. Hopefully you won't tend to regret that later once you lose the gunfight, but as of the moment, there's little to no information, right? You're going to use that scar, block yourself off from heaven, but it was the wrong choice you picked, and Rare is just going to be able to sneak himself up to the side, take out Azume. Plant will not come through, and we have ourselves an equalization.
4 rounds, I believe, ladies and gentlemen, back to back. Correct me if I'm wrong, Puffo, but we were saying it looked very, very clean for Million Flowers. It looked like this was kind of already maybe said and done, but the momentum shift here suddenly very, very pivotal. The defense and the rotates and the retakes all looking a lot better. To be honest, it is also off the back of just the initial engagements seem to be going a bit more Boar's way. They're now able to take the headshots, get the refrags, get the equalizer, or at least create enough of a pain for their opponents. But now with 4 ults on the board and 5 players stacked towards B site, it's going to be a very, very aggressive push with a lot of utility being used. So ladies and gentlemen, try and keep an eye. Atros falls off the map. I think that's him. Is that him gone?
No, I think he was able to get back up, but it's
he's gone now.
No! It doesn't matter, map or not. It's a bullet between the eyes by the end stage. Was all bound to be the same, and Nizer's last one, as the kill feed is turned all blue. Javelin for the last shot. I think both of us were holding our heads there for just a moment. He was able to refract back. I hope that was the case, but in the end, I mean, Borscht just took off with it. You lose your waylay and that aggression for just a moment as they're too busy trying to get back into the action but by mistaking a jump. Although in the end stage, that small gap, again, just allows a push up here. And overall, we have ourselves a lead now back into the hands of Boars. And considering this is the defensive score we get from them, even considering there could be a possible 7-5 to follow, scary team.
I mean, we were saying kind of, and we were saying, the Boars were kind of the ones with the staying power. Million Flowers was, kind of not necessarily disproving that, but certainly was kind of creating a little bit of hesitancy for that statement. Now, though, they're back in force on form, and again, they're going into... Even if they end this 6-6, they're going into the advantageous side, and they've got a decent composition to do it with. KO is a bit more solid on the attack than he is on the defense, because you can be more proactive with those flashes, especially with the support that he has got. So do not count Javelin out just yet. Maybe just playing on a weaker half, which is definitely the case, as we see the attack prepping through here for Million Flowers. Drone immediately being shut down, but they are not deterred. One by one, the ultimates all come through, ladies and gentlemen. The bloodbath commences.
Oh, Troisy finding Nizers. The shorty's looking to deal some damage. It scares the Waylay back into A main, and it seems like right now Million Flowers are not finding the comfortability they want pushing into this A side, so an instant rotation. But again, it seems Boards are reading into it. Look at the KO's position, already setting himself up to mid to try and read into it, and this is mostly just to get a grasp of where they will push, but for now, it was a fake rotation. We're going to stick around for just an extra moment. We're going to see how it goes, but still 2 players left behind. The Waylay and the Omen out from Bridge and Heaven, holding them down. That's a bit of a pre-shot. Troy's going to use that as bait, find himself an instant second. Kalosha might fall, but again, it's all left down to the one Waylay standing still. A bit unpleasant in this situation, being spotted, flashed, all sorts, and even an op right in your face. It will be the 7th round within this fast first half, and a winning one at that for Boars.
Switching sides.
Yeah, massive. And almost as in, Puffo, you said it there, Javelin. You notice the flash did help his teammate out. It did help Never Fear get that shot off, because it did create a little bit of difficulty for Zatros to get that shot lined up. So the flash is already coming out to change a little bit more. One thing I also like, and it's also something that I always, rag on about, because it is an important distinction, is that you don't use your ultimates at the end of the half. You're going to lose them. You don't carry them in. And I like the use of the Cosmic Divide there. From the attacker side, from Azume it was, to try and kind of trick the Boars into believing that, okay, no, they're going to, go B site, but they pushed in just a little bit too fast. The rotates hadn't come through. No one had bits. So because of that, we see the numbers advantage go towards the Boars as they go onto the attacker side, and it looks like a very, very tried and true attempt at the A site.
cannot use that.
Now we're back to pistols. Square one once more, but this one carries a bit more weight, right? It's a way for Million Flowers to catch up to boards once more, find an equalization, maybe carry on further, but right now the attackers are having a go, and 6K9 gonna instantly shut it down. An equalization shortly after. This Teo is handling business on site by himself. No one really to stop him in the moment. You're gonna get forced out by that Teo utility, taking a bit of damage, and the classic to finally put you in your grave. As now in a 1v3 scenario, are we gonna get greedy for the ace? Are we gonna allow our player to try and find a once in a match possibly? Rare is trying to peek around. There's information coming about an instant one tap, but that opens up the Teo to swing in from the sidelines and find the last shot and secure the one and maybe only ace within this best of one.
Ladies and gentlemen, he has been renamed. I know 6K is harder to get, but 5K is what we've just seen. A very, very clean ace. And sometimes people get a little bit shaky about how aces are gotten. Sometimes people say, oh, that's a save round. That was a pistol round in which 6K9 killed 4 people on his own. He took 4 engagements that he walked away from. The use of the special delivery was incredible. His aim was good. His use of the right click from the classic, which can be hit and miss sometimes, was absolutely beautiful. So that was all an ace on 6K9. He did get a little bit of help for that last kill, but at the end of the day, that is a beautiful start for the defensive side. Nicers at this time, though, maybe disagreeing. Not as great a start this time. Zetros able to fight back a little bit. And the back and forth, the red and green everywhere, it looks to actually be, yeah. Million Flowers walking away with 2 guns, a spike planted, and the positional advantage. 6K9 and Azume for the retake now.
Definitely find the right. You're coming off of bare pistols. You evade a bit of utility. Rare will keep the most of his HP and doesn't seem to be tempted by the Marshal on that top bridge. As for now, Azume with the flank. 6K spotting out one of the players on site. Still doesn't have full information about them both, but starting to lock down into this waylay. It's a good 2-for-1 deal. Now Azume with the position locked out. The Ghost definitely has a spot here in the moment, but 6K just above doesn't go noticed, and we have ourselves another round here to catch up to Boars. Although, given the pistols that we had, a Million Flowers, or rather a round back for Million Flowers, but given the pistol round that we had for Boars there, they still did quite well.
It's still very clean. I mean, it's not the best, of course, you know, trying to keep more players alive. It keeps the ult points as well, you know, a bit minimal for the Boars on the attack. But yeah, still very clean for Million Flowers to get that kind of working for them. And I do want to point out that 6K9 already, I believe that is, 7 out of 9 for the Armageddon, and it's round 3. So possibly, I mean, will likely die at this stage, so either we'll get the Armageddon online for this round or next round. So that's very early to get the 9-point ultimate online, and it can be very impactful on the defense. Of course, it's more used just to kind of stall out. You're not really hoping to get any frags, but the Armageddon and Tejo's entire kit is really designed that it takes so long to activate that it ends up creating a whole different hassle in and of itself. So 6K9 trying to create that hassle just now, but at the moment getting shut down, and it is just going a bit quiet. A very split attack from the Boars here.
Scouting out here, we see Fear is just looking for a bit of information, right? The rest of the team hasn't fully committed on where they want to go. Possession over mid here is going to be great, but we're taking a look at Rare, who spots not a single player on this B site. And as it is only one, we do have the waylay from Million Flowers kind of holding the fort down by themselves. Although, as for the moment, right, the KO knife is going to clear a lot of that top mid, so it gives comfortability for this team to push forward. Rare now swinging, still holding it with the Outlaw again, an extremely powerful gun. Inside the situation, a Bucky and Zetros definitely will be quite cheeky, as a push up towards A main here might give off the confidence that was needed for Boars to push into B fully, as it's only going to be one player in the moment trying to hold it close. There's some information. You push forward, you deal a lot of damage, and you're going to go in for it again. Retrace back onto side, trying to waste some time, put some nerves to the test, while Javelin in the meanwhile finishes the job on the waylay lone, and so they will go out. But that is not the only player. The rest are starting to coop up towards this B site, and will they be a bit too late?
That is the difference here. The first flash comes through, doesn't get anything, but it was just kind of a setup. But look at Javelin here, already getting ready to play around the flash. Kalusha as well backs him up. He finds a second through the smoke, but 6K9 has the positioning up on Heaven, but Troisy just gonna pull him down very quickly. It's a bigger fall the higher you are. I gotta talk about, though, because Boar's attack there, kind of ingenious. So we got a setup of Troisy all the way on his own, just towards the A site there. He manages to bait out 2 of the defending side. I believe it was 6K9 and Nicera, I want to say, that was trying to, or Nicers, sorry, that was trying to get him down. So that gave the attackers, that gave Boars all the space in the world just to walk up through the mid site, get towards the back of B, and then get that control covered through, which, as we see, manages to get themselves a converted round now. And this time they're trying again that aggressive B site push, which we've seen before, off the back of the null command as well. The recon bolt hits Zatros. I think that was just a kind of maybe a blind fire through the smoke, and the utility coming through. That's going to be a nightmare of a fight to try and take, and not going to walk away the victory. The Reach trying to strand his ground, but not going to fall soon after it. And the response already from 6K, the Armageddon, it's just going to be a fight after fight.
And we've had an exchange of 2 on both sides now, right? We're back down to equal ground. The Sova will be able to pick off 1 before going out, and Kalasha to have the tides turn for the favor of Boars, as the last one, Azume from Heaven, spotted out Javelin with an instant head tap to take them out of the competition, and we have ourselves once more that 2-round lead that we last saw going into the second half. Now, again, Boars were really good. It's a change of pace that I like from them. In the prior round, before the one we just witnessed, right, we saw them extremely passive. They took a lot of information. They took their sweet and precious time to try and confirm if B is open. Not this time around. They completely flipped it on its head and fully sent it onto B from the very first second.
We are seeing that Boars are very, very good at kind of adapting their timings, adapting their pacing, going for split plays that, you know, create a little bit of hesitancy for Million Flyers, that maybe kind of coerce them into those awkward positions, those awkward placements. We've seen them then go very fast, as you've said, straight onto the B site, and either you take this fight and win, or we take the round off the back of it. So incredibly good stuff there. The drone duration, they're being very, very quiet, not wanting to pick up anything, but unfortunately, not able to pick up anything itself. Doesn't want to get spotted out, and because of that now we're just back to trading bullets over this A main site here. Enough to actually force the rotate on towards the Boars. Little do Million Flyers know, though, that is kind of good for the Boars. 1 man, 1 plan, and it's all down to Azume to try and hold his ground as long as he can.
Feeling a bit of deja vu, right? Azume just going to send everything down, try and block as many lines of sight, but you have a Sheriff and you're the only one who can hold the side down. You're going to have to waste a couple to Kalosha on mid to take out 6K9, but again, Azume still fighting back gracefully, only for 1 though. Troisy instantly to take him out. Again, Kalasha on this mid side just being an absolute demon. You spot out the final one that stands in your way. The stuff doesn't seem to go their way, and now you're on their 6. Somehow, Zatros didn't recognize you being right beneath their nose, and we have double digits coming in for Boars. Have they started to pick up the pace? Again, it's the instant switch. They go from extremely aggressive to passive and back, so in the end, it's kind of a guessing game coming in from Million Flowers, and they have to be ready for it. So for now, they're going to take a bit of a timeout as they've started seeing a pattern that they must break.
No better way to get ready for that kind of change in style, that kind of variance in play, than the timeout, exactly what it is used for. So the coaches now get to, you know, come in, get to talk about what they really need to get done. And it's difficult to say really what kind of needs done, because again, as we've been talking about it, Boars have been changing the pace of their attacks so consistently, and the utility spam has been good for Million Flyers. Don't get me wrong, like, we've been seeing Boars walk onto site and be stunned, be concussed, have to deal with this utility, but they're always able to walk away from it, whether that is just better positioning to start with, excellent refrags and excellent sort of trade outs there. That's something that's, you know, we'll have to wait and see for it. Yes, in terms of it there, that is oh, was that the... Yes, okay, sorry, we're being tricked. Yes, okay, the timeout was called by Million Flyers, so I was thinking that all of that I just said was meaningless, but no, ladies and gentlemen, that is the correct amount. I haven't spread any misinformation. Keyword, yet.
Yet, but...
Yet.
Nomadante, right now, you didn't fail the test. Production, we're making sure we're all kept on our tiptoes, and... You know, you were successful. We got through it. Woo! Heading into the next round, right? This is going to get a bit more into that dangerous territory as 11th round, 12th round. That's where that pressure starts to really fold in. In the meanwhile, 2 ultimates on both sides. We have the Convergent Path. We have also the Cosmic Divide. So it's up to who's willing to use it. And instantly we have it pop from Boar's side. A bit of discombobulation from Nyers is not able to get the full grasp of vision of where everyone stands. But the plan should be comfortable. And look at where the spike is going down, right in the middle of the side, where it's the most dangerous to go for the defuse.
Line him up!
Using the Cosmic Divide there, yes. Usually, for anyone that doesn't understand why, safe spots and default spots are always because it's easiest for the defenders to plant, but it also makes it easier for the attackers to defuse. If you've got the Cosmic Divide, which we've seen, not such the case. And now the response here, the own Cosmic Divide, the own convergent paths, and the Bloodbath goes through it there though, but look at the positioning here. Seems to very much be forwarding and supporting the defense, but Rare here on the flank, plus the shock darts from Never Fear. Troisy manages to slim it out, slide out across the wall, and that buys enough time for Rare with the flank just to come through and seal the deal. That is how you use a flank to perfection. That is why you get a teammate sometimes, or one member not in the middle of the fight, but they have to be as decisive, as impactful as what Rare just was.
Yeah, I mean, Rare, as much, I'm not going to say this in any meaningful way. It's mostly coming from crediting, but he has been such a rat, and it's honestly been working out for him great. I don't blame him. I think he's gone for rotation so many times, and it has worked out. He's even clutched out that 1v1 we saw at the very couple of rounds back when it was a post-match.
Oh, yeah.
The Astro Light.
Oh, my God.
He just always gets to the back lines. What are we doing, Zatros? Throw it alive on the line. Tried to gambit it out, but 6K will fall alongside you. Yes, you get that one trade, but look at what you've lost. The Teo, the Waylay, this was your way of trying to get that post line into your own hands, but now Reach kind of stuck in a stinging situation, able to pick off one of them for himself, but in the end, the result just isn't something valuable. It was a lot of aggression and fast pace picked up by Million Flowers. They tried to go for it, hoping it would end up with a good result, but it seems like a game of cat and mouse here. Nyers will find fear, but has no recollection of where Kalasha is. Right below him is the answer, and we have ourselves a match point.
Oh, maybe a little bit of jitters. I don't hate it. You know, at this point you do need, or at that point you needed 4 rounds back to back just to get it equalized. Going for a bit of a kind of, you know, crazy play. It's definitely not going to be red. In no way did Boar expect to have Zatros up in tower with him, or up in nest, sorry, having that gun battle, but you're not really ever putting yourself in a position that you can be fragged out, you know, importantly or properly. It's almost always going to go the attacker side way, and that's exactly how the numbers advantage worked. So now, ladies and gentlemen, with match point, these ults, maybe use them or lose them, and we are hearing them certainly get used. The From the Shadows and the Hunter's Fury already popped. Tour de Force and the Rolling Thunder now immediately answered back as well. Still somehow though, no one dead right now. Okay, never mind, Zatros proved me wrong. 6K9 adding 2 on for the back of it as well. Beautiful dash, beautiful light speed, but Troisy's too fast. He manages to get the shot from it. Javelin, just a bit of hesitation there, believing that there will be someone on the flank. He gets it right, and a null command now popped as the 1 versus 2 with the spike begins. The clutch potential has to come through if they want to see another round.
A large investment on all metrics. We saw the ultimates, we saw the utility, but mostly also the guns again. 6K9 absolutely delivering. Was there for it on the first round with that, or rather into the first round of the second half with the pistol ace, but again, still persistent, still consistent. Javelin can get the plant down on the opposite side of the map, and it's going to be hurt very fastly. Now, which position are you going to look to take upon? Of course, it will be Heaven, because you can look down upon these players. It cuts off a large amount of rotation. You get yourself a lot of ones, but Reach with a Guardian just in a better spot to play that long range. Even then, though, still Eps out to go for the Val until upgrade, and in the meanwhile, round for Million Flowers to keep themselves within this matchup.
It's good.
Yeah, very, very nicely done. Very necessary, of course. Could have been could have sold the deal entirely there, but off the back of the utility, off the back of the ultimates, it was enough for Million Flowers there, and I'm sure Reach has got to be happy with himself there. Got to be happy with that. I believe it was Reach and Azume still alive. So off the back of an incredibly good push, really, honestly. 6K picking up those frags and Zatros getting it opened. And we haven't seen Zatros get as many of the opening frags at the moment. Of course, defense Waylay plays incredibly different. Maybe those opening frags aren't necessarily what you would expect, but still just something to point out, and just something to consider, that Zatros has been having a little bit less of a performance so far. Just complete disrespect though from the attacking side. Boars just want to rush it down mid. They want to take this presence in this space, and they want this series ended.
Right, it's something that's worked out for them in the past plenty of times. We've seen them take mid, it's very open, they end up pushing towards this B side, and it's bada boom, bada bing done. Maybe they can try and change it up, try to force themselves into this A, but again, it's only a matter of time. They're still sticking about it very patiently, sending some smokes out, and mostly the positioning here from Million Flowers shows the adaptation. They've been met on B a bit too many times in the post plan, so they want to deny it this time around, but look at the Sova scouting out A. It's going to be a free side. Granted, the Teo does reveal himself as being kind of an overseer on this site, but for now, not much of a commit. Although, taking a look at the players themselves, it definitely will be the direction of B we're going to look to commit towards, as now a lot of them are lined up nicely. Azume finds Troisy, but again, no information on Kalasha's whereabouts. Able to pick off the 3, and that's instantly the majority of Team Million Flowers gone. They're not going to be blooming this time around. It's 2 players that have to shoulder this burden.
Yeah, that was incredibly clean from Kalusha and Troisy there. You can't really get better than that. The bait, the plays, the fires off the back of it, and now coming through. Never fear. Does fear the Armageddon. Swings out. Nicers. I was saying maybe he needed to kind of make a name for himself with the op, and while he hasn't done that, those shots are very clean. And the rotate here coming through, but he doesn't have much time, and Rare hears him, unfortunately for him. He knows that Rare is located there, but the Outlaw, that angle is just too difficult for the jump spot. Nicers falls, and it will be a pretty damn clean sort out for the Boars.
Yeah, 13-8. Again, we saw Million Flowers come off extremely strong, dominant. We had ourselves a 5-1 full-round lead, basically. And in the end, Boars just were able to catch up. By the end, that means they had 6 rounds consecutively within this first half, and then continue that streak extremely well into the second. Again, they were aggressive, they were strong, they knew how to use their timings, mostly because a lot of the times, it was the information that came in quite clutch. The Sova, the KO, the fact that they were able to recognize that a site is empty and free for taking was mostly what allowed them to get in very easily and then hold that post plan without much of an issue.
Whenever you've got, like, because we mentioned it at the start as well, kind of that KO, Javelin wasn't getting in, like, quite a bit of, you know, interaction at the start, and then basically on your command, on your request, he decided that, yeah, he did need that utility, he did need to get that gain, he did need to kind of show up in that way, and it worked out flawlessly for them, and it's really kind of showing that KO did not get changed in the patch notes, by the way. Breach got some significant buffs. His flashpoint goes a little bit faster whenever it's like on the way towards the wall, and the fault line, which is his normal kind of stun, I believe that's been made slightly wider as well. So yeah, even with those buffs, it seems like the KO Sova may be the better call.
Might be. I mean, it's kind of information versus clearage. Teo, Breach, they're fantastic at clearing out quarters, but if the enemies have information, they're going to be able to swing you and find you very easily. Now we can take a look at the team stats, right? MVP Kalasha, no doubt about it. 27 and 14, 371 ACS is crazy with 8 first kills. Very granted for this one to be the MVP going into the matchup, because again, we saw it in the very last round. Again, a very out of nowhere play, but it essentially ended up in the round being won for Boars.
Yeah, it did, and I mean, if you want to look as well, who's beneath Kalasha in that, it is, or Kalusha, sorry, it is Troisy, and them two seemed kind of joined together at the hip. There seemed to be a lot of plays where Troisy was like setting up for the paranoia, or Kalusha was setting up with the stun, with the refraction. There was a lot of times where, you know, that 3k that Kalusha got, that was very much off the back of Million Flowers pushing into mid, looking to their right, seeing Troisy, killing him, and then going, oh, okay, we're safe, mid's clear, and then getting shot in the back by Kalusha 3 times, you know, losing half of your roster in that kind of one moment of gameplay. And that's teamwork, that's coordination, that's cohesion, that's understanding your game, and that's why the Boars are the victors.
100%. And again, they're going to keep up that track record that they've held so successfully. They have reached the grand finals before in an EVC, although not able to win them. And right now, going into these group stages, they're certainly looking extremely strong. We don't know how much preparation was given from both of these sides, but again, with Million Flowers comparing the stats they have to Boars, they did really well. Again, I do have to give them credit in certain rounds, especially out of the beginning. They kicked it off very well. Consistency-wise, they weren't able to keep it till the very end, but still, a 13-8 is not domination here from Boars. It's the fact that they were just able to go for the longer part of the match, and again, it's more of them being conditioned better in a sort of way. However, again, these are only the group stages. It's not over yet, but we also have some more matches, right, Medante? So it's not over for the broadcast either.
It is not, ladies and gentlemen. So what we will be doing is we'll just be cutting to a short break, letting the teams kind of finish up. Of course, we got to get all the games and stuff finished before we can get you all into the second game. Unfortunately, we will be saying goodbye to the beloved Puffo Bob just for this. But it has been an absolute pleasure, my man. Thank you very much for joining me, especially on short notice. It is much appreciated. So we will be right back with you for the Surge 8 for some more games, some more best of ones. Puffo, would you like to just say goodbye to the lovely people before we go?
Yeah, thank you everyone who came around. Thanks to the production. Thanks for letting me cast. And thank you, Medante, as well. It's always a great time to spend the time on the mic with you. And yeah, we're going to cut it to a short break, so stay tuned and we'll be right back. Hopefully.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and yes, unfortunately, just a little bit of a kind of one-on-one with myself for the game number 2 here. We will be getting a co-caster to fill in the lovely black space to the left of me here for game 3, but for the moment, just going to be myself and the squad that are currently here. So these guys, they're going to be my co-casters for the for this match coming up. And speaking of that match, it is going to be the follow-up to what we've just had, and that'll be Novo Esports versus PUX. And that will be jumping straight onto Haven. So the map picks and bans, for anyone that is a bit interested, they did look as follows. So the Corrode was immediately banned by PUX. Pearl was taken by Novo. Bind then removed as well. Sunset taken out. Split taken out. And Abyss finally by Novo. So no double Abyss showing up today. It was, well, I guess we could maybe wait and see for that third map, but for the moment we will be jumping on to Haven. So big thing for Haven, if anyone doesn't know, of course, we've me and Puffu were talking about all the different changes that the agents and the maps and all have had. There we go, we've got it through there just so you can see it. And the big changes that Haven has had is the Windows site on mid. I say the Windows site, yeah. So the site that, or the window that's opposite B site, that can no longer be wall-banged immediately. They've added a little kind of metal sheet on it the same way garage doors have. Makes a lot of sense. There were a lot of cheeky plays that were being done. Previous surges, previous, VCTs, previous VCLs. A lot of stuff that was just grab an Odin, grab like an Outlaw, something that's very high penetration, and then just spray that doorway as soon as the round began and get yourself essentially a cheeky single, double, the occasional triple, very rare. But yeah, they've added that little window just to give a bit more survivability, and we will be getting right into the game off the back of that, and I already see a phenomenally interesting pick. It has been locked in. Puck's CreeperCon on the brand new and maybe improved, we'll have to wait and see, Harbor. Everything else from the defender side there looking pretty standard as well. So it is Novo on the defense and PUX, of course, on the attack. Novo's comp looking pretty what you would expect, honestly, for Haven at this stage. The double controller, the single duelist as well being the Neon. Sometimes, you rock the double duelist, you get the kind of Yoru and such, which looks like we're actually getting from PUX, so the Yoru Waylay. A much more kind of typical composition coming out from Novo here. So we'll see if tried and true versus maybe a little bit of experimentation, which one is going to do some work for that now. So just once Diver gets himself locked in, I assume he will. I'd be very surprised if there is any changes here. Maybe just swap to the Neon as well. But we are going to wait for it just to come through. Yeah, it looks like Diver's just going to be killing all the time that he can in the agent select. And because of that, we will be coming through with the team stats now. And PUX versus Novo. Very exciting stuff for both of these teams. Very excellent stuff there. Oh my god, I can't do it. Perfect. And there we have it, just once the game gets loaded in. I imagine we're going to be seeing just pretty kind of standard issue setups here, at least from the kind of get-go. Again, we didn't have the opportunity to go back in time for the old map patch, so it will be the new Haven, and it will be that kind of cover up there. Other than that, though, not really too many changes. I mean, no many changes to the map. Harbor has had a million changes. Harbor has gotten quite a lot of changes now coming through. So the biggest part really is the Storm Surge. So that is not his ult. That is kind of the replacement for his wall. That is now a lot faster at activating. It's a lot longer of a slow, and it doesn't require line of sight, which is the important thing. So it can now just be dropped in, thrown onto an opponent at any sort of time, regardless of the space or not. And speaking of throwing into an opponent, Archangel immediately running in the paranoia. It doesn't do anything, though. It's PUX managing to pick up all the frags just now, walk onto the C site. We know it's for free. They don't just quite yet, but that's a lot of information and a lot of presence already being gained. And it seems that the Killjoy turret already, causing a little bit of an issue here for the opposition, for the defense side. So off the back of that, the spike being planted, think it's pretty easy to see how this is going to be going down. The cove's already been burst, so there's not going to be any opportunities there. The beautiful shock dart, actually, from No Help manages to clear out Cubby, but that's all he's going to find in Viti now. The last man standing has to get 3 more. The Viper Orb is up, and the defuse is being held. Is going to have to be taken off. He manages to pick up 1, but Doka with the rotate off the garage angle. Beautiful shot for it, and a very, very clean first round attack for the side of PUX. So just because of that now, waiting for the post-pistol round to set up. Viti, very clean, getting at least 2 frags there and getting the death. So, you know, a decent chunk of the way on the way to the Viper's pit, but not going to be enough just yet. And of course, for anyone that doesn't know, the new gun, the Bandit, has came out, but it's not going to be finding its mark just yet. We're not letting that come through, just because it, again, would be a bit unfair. And now it is just Uwasima to try and hold this garage on his own. I say on his own, actually. It's a very, very aggressive push from the Novo squad here, but doesn't quite work out. Able to get at least 1, but that's all that's going to be found right now. No help. Unfortunately, living up to his namesake at the moment, just a little bit accurate for himself, unfortunately. And he doesn't get his timing as much as he'd like. He falls because of it. And Uwasima just complete quietness now. All quiet on the A front as the rotate comes through, and is the full remaining roster of PUX onto this C site. And they're going to do it basically for free.
Well, just 1 man on the flank. Got speed on that. The poor Killjoy will have a very unpleasant surprise awaiting them. Just Arbor, well, looking down sight. The bad news should be on point there for Uwasima. Well, nothing much that can be done. I haven't missed much, have I?
No, you haven't. Everyone, welcome Project Scene. Lovely to have you, boss, by the way. Thank you for jumping in with me. So you're not going to just be hearing myself speak to myself for the entire round of this series. So please, everyone, welcome Project Scene in the chat. And no, you've not missed too much. You've missed an incredibly clean execute from the PUX side off of their slightly stranger comp. You'll notice that Harbor is present and with us. Meanwhile, I mean, it's only 2 rounds, but the defense for Novo at the moment just not quite able to hold their ground. I'm sure that will probably change as the rounds go on.
I gotta give credit though to PUX, and with Harbor in play, I rarely ever get to see that agent, and well, I'm happy that's come around. Bit of it pushed over into garage there, and coming in with a good push. Guess 1 traded out, but the kills are still in blue. 3 for 1 there. Uwasima making the push in. Spike easy to be picked up. Nova won't really mind this too much though. Foob watching in. Philly is in a good position, but picked up there by PX. Nothing much to be done though. Uwasima and Archer Angle will clearing up. So first on the board there for Nova.
There you go. Maybe you're their good luck charm, Saint. Maybe you are the ones to. Maybe you're the one to get Novo on the board, because that seems to be the case of it at the moment. Let's just have a look at that beautiful. God damn it! Of course, I wanted to see that beautiful new window blockage. I wanted to see that being covered, but we don't get the angle on just for the minute. But well, I'm sure we will get a chance to see it later on as the pushes come through. A decent standard issue stack at the moment. The 3 towards A, the utility on the B, and then the 2 remaining members on the C. And I love this aggressive defense that keeps coming out from Novo. They tried it once before and it didn't work out, but that doesn't mean they are in any way dissuaded.
Not at all. And taking up all that space just means so much is covered there. BX still lingering around at the back, and well, if they dislodge, well, just as I was about to say, dislodge the Neon and a was triggered down, but instant reaction there by Nova. Sova and Omen already on site, so there will be a bit of disruption in play there. No help picked out immediately there by Creeper. Archangel having to fight, but just push back so hard. Just 2v5 now. Easy as you like there for PUX. And Archangel had to find another way around.
Yeah, it's pretty clean, and we got to see the little metal slat there in the window. And the Cove now, a big update for anyone that doesn't know how Cove now works. So it is pretty standard issue. It you go into the kind of parallel dimension, kind of like Omen does. Of course, it is just for ease. It's not for lore or anything. It's just to make it more accurate to place down. But you get that more accurate place down, and you get to choose whenever Cove's little shell activates. So for anyone that has just never seen Harbor, doesn't know what any of that means, whenever you threw Cove, it used to prevent bullets going through it for a little bit. It used to let like utility and stuff through. But now you get to choose when that like little armor piece comes online. You can still shoot it down. You can still break it and then penetrate through the smoke, but you're a lot more proactive on when you decide to do that, and it makes Harbor, as we're kind of seeing, it makes Harbor quite a bit of a faster agent. He doesn't have to play reactively as much, and gotta say, PUX are really putting that to their advantage.
They've already put in the work there. CreeperCon being rather effective, and allows for so much agency there, as you said. Diver making good use of it. 5 kills on board, ready to go into the parallel dimension right now. Just slow entry. Gateway for return. But no, nothing in right now, and that's gonna allow Doka to contact 2. In comes Yoru in push right now. Waylay's in as well. Asso takes up space, but picked out immediately. Archangel on board. Diver gets one, but it's just back and forth. And Ank on low HP, one shot right now. But I think that disruption has already forced an audible right there from PUX. You're seeing a move around straight over to A, and that Killjoy just hiding, sneaking around. Will there be a pick there from Doka? No, not at all. But that just means that the Killjoy has free agency to be a backstab material right there. So Nova, gotta be careful right there. No help, guess one. Manages to hide away. Allows for VT to play around B. A sneaky little son of a gun. And Doka, we'll see one. Has to do a 1v3, but that's too much of an ask to be done right there. So Nova keeping things strong, keeping things tight.
Very, very clean from them. Managing to equalize the rounds pretty decisively, just off the back of that control. The lurks in the flanks not quite giving the space that maybe was expected, at least initially. And that kind of delayed back from Doka to get that 2-man spot onto Garden. They're not going to be enough to kind of change the way of the round. It's not going to be enough to change the pathing of it. Just the frags didn't really go out, and because of that, as you can see, the equalizer there, and Uesima want to immediately add another one onto the board there. A very, very quick kill onto Garden, just holding his ground. He wants to take another fight as well. No concerns at all. No disengage necessary. The Killjoy utility all set up and good to go. The turret been destroyed, so not going to be a factor just yet as the smoke comes through towards the top of mid. And it looks like we're going to push him for Garage.
He'll get that fight, but he'll be forced back immediately right now. And it just seems to be a quick exit on, but Vicky in position, and in comes Asso. Oh, just death and carnage right in play there. Asso manages to get one to escape, but it's just so doomed. And just like that, I feel the round is over.
Just like that, one ultimate plus some executes, and Asso just stuck now on C-Long all on his own. The spike is down comfortably in Garage. Look at the positioning as well. There is nowhere he can go that he's not going to get found. Oh, wow, the drone just to really add insult to injury. The vultures circling, falling upon him off the back of it, and yeah, we've got an equalized scoreline off of the back of that. Very patient aggression, but very comfortably read out by Novo.
Very comfortably and very agonizing for PUX as well. I thought they had a good execute from Garage, but just being trapped in position there, not being able to clear Viti, and then the server ult. Oh gosh, that's just a blender. I'd rather be blending tomatoes than being blended like this, I'll tell you that much.
Certainly a bit healthier state than what would be the alternative, and Oh, speaking of the alternative, it's getting scanned by the Sova Dart there, giving all the information away, and you already can see the angle that's created. That's given the defensive side Killjoy there just a lot more space to kind of get the control. He disengages off of it, but we fall on top of Creeper Corn. He's able to get one. Don't be able with the refrag as well, and the convergent pass going back and forth. It's going all the way for the defense those side at this stage. Yeah, Novo able to walk away, 2 members alive, surviving the use of the ultimates, and no hesitation from them at all to get themselves right back in the driver's seat.
That's just a case of weaponry coming into play there. Just, well, it's a half buy really at best. So we can't really say too much wrong. Just for POX, nothing much they could do. Just get the round out of the way and set up again. And well right now you're seeing them. Well, 0-1-4. They're looking predominantly to A. I see no help, and Archangel just set up, play smart. It should be okay for hold.
Through, yeah, the split. Yeah, no one really wanting to go for that aggressive aspect anymore. The defense just wanting to stay online. No help getting spotted out. Tries to dance around the Sova drone, but unfortunately just not quite able to get fully hidden. He does get spotted out, but no information being kind of utilized yet. No executes or decisions being made off the back of it. Diver waiting out the oil drone perfectly, and he is pushing up. Is he going to have this read on Archangel, though? Because this will be the make or break. No, he decides. I think he's just left one of the teleports or one of the clones there just to bait himself out. Yeah, he's going to pop that later on. Yeah, there it is. There's the pop to distract 3 members on that A site, which kind of opens up the B site coming through as the util falls and the execute walk starts.
Yep, Rayleigh takes the fight. Also takes on Viti pretty quickly. Just, well, doesn't even come through. No one comes through, and oh gosh, both Killjoy ults down. And I don't even think that's in PUX's favor right there. Flushing onto C, but still gonna have to clear out. I think it's gonna be a mess, Dante. And how did it all come up, Nova? Two available right now. Doka down. That was a mess and a half.
Yeah, that's what happens whenever you get that composition that, again, we've talked about earlier, you know, Waylay, Yoru, and Harbor being the big one, you know, some of these composition differences, but there's a reason Killjoy is pretty much a mainstay in Haven. Used to be Cypher, but the Cypher utility just doesn't really find the place anymore, and Sova used to be a mainstay to deal with the Cypher utility, now just a mainstay because the Sova arrows are excellent on the A site, very solid on the B site. There's a bit more kind of error prone to them, and then excellent on the C site. Speaking of excellent on the C site, Uasima just steps out of garage, takes 1, steps right back in, no concern at all, and that forces an aggressive push to come through here from the lower buy on the attack side.
Absolutely crazy there, and Archangel able to convert. I'm sorry, you were able to get a kill like that and convert like this? What have you been eating? I have to ask, what have you been eating?
I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the Surge 8. This is some of the best here. There's a $2,500 prize pool up for grabs here, of course. Top spot gets $1,500, $500 per player. Second spot then gets that 1,000, which will be about that kind of 200 per player. So, and no rewards for third place either, so yeah, we're going to be seeing kind of the cream of the crop here. We're wanting to be seeing all the best mechanics, all the best utility usage, all the best executes, and look at 2 members just staring down garage after that. Uasima has conditioned 2 people to be afraid of that double doors just off the back of it. PUX having to respect that angle now, which is typically an angle you don't even want to consider because it's usually suicide to step out onto.
Oh, that's the power of just being so dominant. And Uasima pushing up on C just takes up more space. Of course, Garage being prodded and checked on. And good pick there. So not even A is safe. It's like you're being corralled over to B. All angles being shut down there. Dante's not looking good at all for PUX right now.
It's really not. And Harbor down, that's a big thing. Reckoning's really damn strong now. And it would be nice to even just get to see that utility, that ultimate get used, just so the audience can really see how it plays. The gate crash has been spotted out. Of course, it's going to be a fake. Archangel would have had a free kill on his hands had that been committed to. And the Viper Wall falls, the smoke replaces it down. But it still looks like PUX really want this A site. They've only got the Hunter's Fury to try and break into it, really. The defense side, everything going their way. The utility, though, back and forth. Finally, they get themselves onto the site. Archangel, the paranoia comes through, gets the Yoru clone, doesn't get flashed. Diver trying to take that engagement. Meanwhile, at the other side, no help. Trying to take as much as he can, gets 2 for it, and Archangel picks up a double of his own. You said it, saying it was basically walking into, corralled into that B site, and the jaws of PUX feel themselves close around.
Very much so. It wasn't even an execute or a retake, that was just an outright wipe down. B as a timeout is forced out on POX. Just, oh. No, you couldn't even get the plant down. Once everyone was spotted, both sides was taken, and the execute was just as clean as you'd like there. I think that POX right now are just wondering about the gunfights and how they could get one, because confidence right now is all on Nova.
Yeah, no, it must be shaking a little bit. Novo looking so clean. And this is the difficulty with kind of getting Haven in, and for anyone that is confused, yeah, there we go, we see it. BOA and MFC, of course, for the previous game, so not following them anymore, but this is the difficulty whenever you go for kind of weirder agents and such. We've seen exactly there that all the utility being used by PUX to try and get onto the B site, and everyone was still just at the 2 doors. Everyone was still just standing at the links. We had no help on towards the A site, and we had Archangel towards the C site, and they didn't really have to move. None of the utility was good enough to kind of force their position or completely cut away their vision, and because of that, they just got diced up as soon as they walked onto the site. 2 more rounds now to try and make something happen with these ultimates, and if they don't get any value off of that, this could be a very, very quick game, especially Diver all ready to fall.
Well, quick game, you said it already. Archangel just going for blood, just hunting down Outlaw on the server, and now like criminal on the field, and Anchor no help, absolutely providing damage, just like that. And it's just Doka. And Godspeed, my friend, you are alone in a pool full of sharks.
Can't use that yet.
And they smell blood. And they smell blood. You might be able to be good for one here onto this flank onto Vitty, but even if you do that, all of a sudden the information's been gathered. You get yourself a gun, sure, but the spike is literally at the other end of the map, all the way away from you. Vitty seems to have the angle, he seems to have the idea, and he seems to have the shot to back it up. What we are now going into, ladies and gentlemen, is the last round of the half, as you can hear it. But we're going into that with 8 ultimates collectively. 4 for the attackers on PUX, 4 for the defense of NOVO. So if you thought there were bloodbaths in these previous rounds, get your seatbelts buckled. You lose these, or you lose these.
Most critically as well, neither of the Killjoys are able to join in with their ults. So no lockdown to disrupt for any post plants or for any site holds. And right now, just with confidence, PUX are just forced down to C. The one site they haven't really had a try on yet, they're forced down. Archangel will spot out Doka, but it's just going to be speculative.
I want to point out that the Viper's Pit not being popped right now, I think is a mistake.
It is, and Archangel already gets one. That's aim for no help, spots out, and clears on second. Numbers are already thinning, and even worse as well. That's 3 ults down for PUX. It's just a reckoning left for Harbor.
Yeah, like Divergent Paths and Dimensional Drift not even being get to use is insane. Dimensional Drift especially, like, you can survive you can survive a Sovault pretty easily with that, but Doka not going to be able to survive that much. The Cove, the shield comes up, but Vitty just steps out of it and just takes the frags for free, doesn't need the Viper's Pit at all. I still stand by that on a last round like that, you cannot afford to just have your Viper, you know, go down by a random shot like that, an errand, you know, kind of headshot that then takes the Viper's Pit down. But hey, that's why Vitty's there, and I'm up here on the desk. So because of that, a 9-3, pretty definitive half for Uesima and Co. It has to be said from Novo.
Early game be damned. Yes, you get the pistol. Yes, you get the second round, and yes, you win the gun round. But after that, just 8 on the dot for Novo. I think they just decided to show up and show who's the best side. And now PUX have a lot to do. As we're taking fights right there, people are able to creep up. So first round will have his first kill going to PUX, and people come able to escape. Not really, no. But the support body system means that this chaos still comes up good there for PUX. Diver takes down one, and it's just the server of no help to escape to go into C-site. Or so you think.
Oh, good. It's a good route. It's a good route here, actually. He's done it very, very tidily. The timing's perfect. He may not know he's tricked both, but at the very least he will. He should guaranteed get the spike down. That's 1,500 credits for his team, which is a big deal. But it's a very aggressive angle. He's tapped the spike here and just holding that garage door. PUX though, look at this patience. They haven't swung off it yet, and now with the spike not being planted, they know he's taken himself off the bomb, which means this door should be held. And that window angle as well. Foob and Diver playing that honestly very decisively, very cleanly, and no overestimation or any overcommitment from them. Very nicely done.
Well, I would have taken the credits in the spike there, but that's just me. Confidence was definitely on no help side, but it backfired on that go around. Foob just outright being patient there and watching the angle. So, first round will at least go PUX's way just like before. And we've seen that the early game going that way, it helps out a lot. Oh gosh, and you psycho with the Bucky. Doesn't come out good though. People will get that kill. And, well, they'll be forced to back out. PUX ready.
Anyone else?
Diver takes out Vitty, so no Viper to play around. Well, Uesima will be around, still be effective. Sheriff in hand, they'll be able to push up there. Gets 2 on the bounce!
You say the word effective, he's just he's absolutely made it work. Archangel trying to answer back with the Bucky, but he's done enough at this point. You've got the frags there. Suddenly, it's just Diver with a Sova behind him. The classic shots land, the spike beeps away. And I mean, you said Uesima was going to do what he could, saying that was incredible stuff.
Pushing out like that and getting the double headshot out of nowhere. That just turned around on his head there. I was thinking that PUX would be able to get it. But no, Novo just snatches one. And that's to such huge detriment there. Oh dear. Now they have to come up with something with such a limited buy.
Yeah, that's a painful thing to have happen to you, all off the back of just... I mean, yeah, the Bucky, that kind of the neon swing with the Bucky from Ankh was one thing, but while it didn't get any frags, it did get the team very decisively into the B site. It did get Novo very comfortably in there, and the utility just wasn't really there to kind of mince them up from PUX afterwards. The blender that we've talked about beforehand, not plugged in, or at least not getting any electric supplied to it. It just gives all the freedom in the world for it. Peppercon now trying to pop the coke, not going to activate the shield just yet. All the Harbor utility actually being burnt, but that just gives the information away. Look at how decisive this rotate is, and Uesima already in the back line, but maybe too cocky. Doesn't expect to run into Diver, but at the very least is able to kill all the time in the world while the team rotates. I say that, but the opposition in Novo are coming in fast. Or PUX, sorry, are coming in fast.
I don't think Uesima minds too much because they already done their job. No help already comes up with 3 on the bounce. And that is pure confidence. Ace there for no help. He gets it. 5k on the bounce for the Sova. And with all confidence, Novo outright Dex! PUX. My word there.
I mean, yeah, incredible stuff from the attacker side there. Just insane stuff from Novo, honestly. I mean, you're talking that incredible deception on the A site, the incredible sell that it's an A push, Uesima getting all of that information in the world, and yes, not expecting to meet Diver in the defense spawn, but at that point you've got all the map control, you've got all the confidence in the world, there's no real concerns or worry there, and it's really just going to show that at the moment Novo are just playing at this map to their own advantage. They're having a very comfortable time with it, and I hate to say it, not really been seeing what the Harbor Dream was all about.
It hurts my heart, just like Cypher's nerfs. Ah, dear. But yeah, the Harbor inventive, good try. But so far, so not good. Right now, Uesima just looking around. Ank already gets one, and Uesima catches Diver in the middle of util change right now. So just on food to get anything, and no help tells him there will be no help for him at all. Just efficient as you like, and the remaining two core and B, Uesima already knows. Info being relayed at that.
Not too much, yeah. Get the plant at least. And we talked about earlier maybe the credits not being gained, but don't think it's really that relevant anymore. Uesima picks up the frag and the flank. No help, just killing all the time in the world, and then decides to take Doka for his own frag. The Hunter's Fury, of course, already online. And Reckoning, the only ultimate currently online for PUX from CreeperCon, but at this point, I don't really think we're going to be able to even see it. The attack here has just been so clean. I do expect a proactive Hunter's Fury, honestly, just from the playstyle that we've been seeing from Novo. We'll see how that works out for them. But the Viper utility already getting set up. That kill feed, no help on a 4 KD, doing absolute wonders. Ladies and gentlemen, this could be the last map, or the last round, sorry, of this map.
Already engaged coming in there from Aso. Guess, well, Aso will be taken down. Ank also goes down with them, but right now the push comes in through. Uesima already on site there, takes down Foob. No, they don't. So, looks like PUX will survive for another round there. Foob on a 3K to keep things going for a bit longer. Was it just a delay of inevitable? Well, you never know. You never know.
You do never know. I mean, comebacks, they have to start somewhere. Every time that you take a step, there's always some time that it's the first step, and this could be the first step towards a comeback, but gonna need to see a lot more than that. That was just kind of good guardianship from Foob there, managing to survive and take the fight against Uesima despite the low HP, so could just be chalked up to a bad round from the side of Novo. They've got 6 rounds at least, 6 more opportunities to have bad rounds before, let's face it, they're really relevant at all. So plenty of space, plenty of time for them to work with, but I doubt they really want to be putting to use that many rounds. The Hunter's Fury going towards the A site, and it's not going to hit a single thing. Just the last shot being put away. GreeperCorn, the timing! He watched Uesima do that!
That is evil. That is just pure BM right now. PUX will get a couple on the board, but Archangel evens things up. Still on site, on board. Pressure now on Diver and PUX. In comes the ult. Foob will get it. Delay up, but VT takes down Foob and Aso. Just Diver left. Just a 1v2. And it has to be done on point. Diver gets one. VT down. Oh, no help. Could win it all on himself. Bully!
Oh my god! Oh! Okay. Okay. I think we're just gonna move on from that, ladies and gentlemen, because that was an unfortunate spray pattern from both sides, but it works out in the end for Diver. And yet again, I mean, yes, we see the round being taken, going the way of PUX, but hardly one that can be described as amazing kind of decision-making from PUX there, especially that timing. I'm nearly certain CreeperCon did see Uesima in on his screen without any additional support, so we'll have to see, PUX fighting for their life. Will they succeed? The fight for Shire is already coming through. Archangel trying to survive the frag from the Killjoy as much as possible, just sitting in that corner. It's excellent bait. Is he gonna? He swings too early. He gives his position away, and for that, his life.
You should run.
Is that gonna be the critical mistake made there? In comes the ult there from Yuisima, and we already know how effective it is for Killjoy to be having that lockdown. Site's taken, plant is down. Now it's just seconds left to survive now for POX. Comes the Black Ult as well, so that's just evil. But oh dear, no help, just shooting fish in a battle. The great Mariana's turkey shoot down, and Nova will clean things up. 13-6 is around there, and my word, that was ever so brutal.
Yeah, that all love to them. All love to them, don't get me wrong, but it was pretty clear who was comfortable on that map there, all things considered. Just very good executes, very solid playstyle on both the attack and the defense. And look, I'm not sold on Harbor just yet. I love the agent, not sold on the Dream just yet.
It hurts my heart to agree on that. Don't you think they're left person? But I have to say, that was if there was ever a battle of the Killjoys, Yuisima just showed us who was on top right there. Ever so efficient with kills, placements, and Yuto. The delays, the lurks, that was just so evil. Just so evil there.
It really was. Like, Uesima managed to get his lurks were excellent. Like, when he needed just control of the map, he was controlling the map. When he needed to be with his team, he was with his team. It was very, very clean, and we should be now getting to look at the stats to see who our top performers were. And we have a lot to choose from here. If you want to run us through it, Saint.
Well, why the hell not there? So pretty much that Novo just enjoying it all right there. 23 and 7 from no help. And Yuisima, even though it's just 16 kills, those were 16 impactful kills there. Outright domination there. I would actually argue that my favorite player of the whole game was Yuisima, just from what they did. The lurks and the impact just so on point. Diver did try there for POX there, and I can't deny Foob as well, holding things strong, but I mean, what can I say? No help and Yuisima on point.
It's kind of massive on Haven as well, a 3-site map that Ankh is the neon, the only duelist for the Boars, and no, not for the Boars, sorry, for Novo that would be. Apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. So for Novo, but yeah, very, very clean from them. I mean, just all the control in the world, really. If your Neon is your lowest impacting player, then that means they're getting onto the site and your team are following up off of it beautifully, and you can't really say much more than that.
Not at all. Like, oh my word. If Ank is zero lowest, like, what other effects are there? Like, I have to say, it's just so. It just says everything as you want. And again, it just gives you so much. I already said it, you seem as my favorite, but I also want to say, like, I have to ask actually, what do you think on No Help there? Cause my word.
I mean, the man completely proved his name wrong. I was going to say he lived up to the name, but that's not true. There was help at all times of that game. There was help in those angles, the shock darts. We seen a couple of good stuff. The oil drones were clean. A good Sova is terrifying to deal with because Sova has great utility. If he can get the value out of it, he can easily not. He can easily not, but he is going to, do all the work really for you. So, yeah. Really nicely done for that. We were going to look at Uesima, I believe, just in terms of timing, just because we need to get the games and such through, and the players are going to be a little bit rushy. We are just going to be cutting to the break instead. But ladies and gentlemen, actually, because we never got the formal introduction, hello, Project Saint! Welcome, everyone! Hello, my man! Welcome, good sir. A pleasure to have you here, and I hope you had fun.
Oh, hell yeah, I had fun, and thank you very much for having me around, Dante. Hell of a great time to have you on board, and hell of a great time to have EVC taking me on board. Hey, thank you very much for production and for the team.
Yeah, no, an absolute pleasure, of course. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will just be cutting to a very short break. Unfortunately, though, I will be cycling through another caster. It seems to be we are just playing the merry-go-round on this caster desk here, ladies and gentlemen. But again, thank you to Project Saint. Of course, you can check out his hats and everything. It's been an absolute pleasure, even if it was just a little bit late. But we'll be right back with you as soon as possible after this break for our third and last best of one of the night. Don't go anywhere. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcoming you back for the last time for tonight, EVC the Surgeate. I am joined, myself, Mad Dante Killer, and now the last fresh face of the night, the one, the ever lovely Waxen Vlad. How are you doing, boss man? Welcome back.
It's great to be back. Happy New Year to everybody, and I like that we've been going through this. I mean, you've been going through this gauntlet of casters, mother. I gotta wonder what is going on. Are you taking us all out one by one, Dante?
Look, I've been told I don't have to say anything without a lawyer present, so we're just gonna I plead the fifth and we move on.
I like that. I like that indeed. Oh well, we are here, like you mentioned, with the third series of today, and best of one galore. The series have been quite entertaining, and of course, with the patch that we kind of playing on, you were talking to me just before we went live. Patch yesterday, we playing on the old maps, but with the new changes. And I gotta ask, do you think the teams have had any time to completely forget the old maps in the pool, or they're still very much in the mood as focused on what was the goal, I suppose, to practice on up until yesterday?
I want to say it's a good mix. I mean, we just had Haven kind of showcased there, and it's very apparent already that with such a small change as like that little metal slate that now blocks like B window, so you can't just immediately start by like spraying from B site into that door frame. We're already seeing how that's changed. Like impacts, we're already seeing how that's kind of changing setups, particularly towards the B site. Corrode, I imagine it will be the same later on, but we won't actually get to check that at the moment. Because we've managed to have a full variety of maps here today, ladies and gentlemen, which is something that I always love saying. It's something that's incredibly rare, just as you said. We've managed to have, from our first game, it was Abyss, our second game was Haven, and our third and final between let me just get what it is, the Sissy State Punks and Sight Holders. It's going to be Pearl.
Ooh, okay,
yeah.
I like this.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
this is the definition of variety. But speaking of this new map pool, what is your favorite map that will be played from now on?
Ooh, that's interesting. So we still
Or do you
don't, we
wanna go
still
least
don't have.
favorite?
Oh, least favorite that we'll be getting back. Here's the thing. Breeze was out of the, so we've got Breeze there in the picks. Just ignore that. It was just kind of like for Sunset and such because it's been changed. So just ignore that, ladies and gentlemen. It's meant to say Sunset, but Breeze was out of the competitive map pool, right? I'm going to give Waxen, if you'd like to try and play just a tiny little game for me and guess how many days Breeze was out of the competitive map pool.
Wait, are we saying in this last batch or since
In
its
general,
inception?
since the last time Breeze was in the map pool that could be picked and banned by a competitive team, how many days has it been?
Wait, I swear it's been like, there was like that one patch for like a month and a half when they brought it back and then they said nah.
Yep.
So it must not be, like, my mind goes to 3 years, that I'll go 1,000 something days, but I think I'm wrong. I'm gonna say 624 days.
You know what, ladies and gentlemen, I will give him that. That's pretty damn close. 574.
Okay, I'll be honest, my first option was 580. I was thinking
Oh,
580.
well, okay.
But like, that's still quite close. Like, I'm a month off or so.
Yeah, I mean, either way, yeah, but that goes to show Breeze has not been in the competitive map pool for 570 days, or at least it had not been until today. So whether Breeze is my least favorite map going in, of course it's been reworked again. That's like the 4th or 5th time now that Breeze has been reworked. So maybe it becomes a favorite of mine. From what the pictures or the images I've seen, Waxen, have you seen how the new Breeze looks? Out of curiosity.
Yeah, well, I've got a bit of a story about for Breeze as well. I think it is the worst
Let's
map.
hear it.
Which, to be
Yep.
fair, I think Valorant could use a lot of map rehashes, but back in the early days of Valorant, the first 2 years and a half when I would still play and not just cast, in my qualifier for, I don't even know what big tournament it was, I clutched up an official game in a 1v5, and if you go on VLR, you can find me Waxen in that round where I aced to win. It was kind of crazy. We were down 7-0, so that's quite a memorable round to get. Do I think Breeze is more viable now? No. I actually think probably the previous iteration was a bit better, but time will tell. Of course, it's too early to to get to that point, I think.
Yeah.
But as long as Bind is Bind in?
See, I think I'm getting that kind of fatigue that I think a lot of people were getting with Ascent. Some people still love Ascent, will absolutely stand by it. I think for me personally, it is just you will see it so frequently. Bind is just so commonly commonly played. Same with Ascent that it was, and of course for anyone that is forgetting as well. There we go. We've now got the map bans updated, and the veto. Of course, it is a best of one, and we are going to Pearl now. Pearl is a map that, honestly, like Corrode kind of took over it in terms of popularity. Was very surprised at how quickly Corrode found like a kind of comfortable pick in the meta. Pearl's still not really there, and it's basically become the map for me that if you let it get to Pearl, particularly in a best of one, both of these teams have something planned.
Can I tell you why I think Pearl is? Although I do like Pearl, I gotta say I think Pearl is one of the better maps. I have to say, but the reason people avoid Pearl is the same reason people have avoided Breeze for so long. It's such a one-dimensional map that it requires a certain playstyle due to the nature of a bomb site. Obviously, when Pearl came out originally, the only agent that could have covered those areas was Viper. Since then, obviously, we have the addition of Harbor that does a lot of the things that Viper kind of can do with the long wall. This is what I mean, although Viper is still the more potent of the two, of course. It's interesting to see how these two teams will treat it, but again, I agree with you. It's one of these maps that it's not that one-sided, although certain teams do have certain preferences, and if you look at Tier 1 Valorant, yes, historically it is one side is more favored than the other, but I would say Tier 2, Tier 3 Valorant, I've seen games go 9-3, 11-1 for either side.
It's very much it's not written in stone. Like, we can work with the math, we can work with the stats and everything, of course, but nothing is guaranteed. As I said, the only thing, and I'll continue to point out just because I think it is such an interesting fact, is Abyss being, I believe, the first time a map has ever been attacker-sided in Val. That's across every rank on the competitive ladder. Maybe when it comes to like VCT, VCL, maybe that's like changes slightly, but even from Iron to Radiant across every single one of those ranks, Abyss, is attacker sided, and we now get to see the comps coming through here. Astra from Chazza, that's not really a surprise. I mean, Astra has had full coverage of this map for, since she came out. Basically, arguably the reason she got nerfed back in the day, on top of how much control she could have of Split. So a very key controller going into this, and we'll see how her utility gets used.
Can we talk a second about these logos? I love this, like SSP with like an actual, somewhat legit logo. I hope it's not AI generated, and side holder, and they're just popping off, man. I think this picture was taken like in 2003 with a potato. I love it.
That's the name of the cat. That's the name of the cat. It's potato.
It should all work. Yeah, I mean, looking at the comps, what do you think about the Waylay on Pearl?
See, Waylay, it's weird. Waylay on Pearl, I would go, okay, I'm not really sure how I feel. We're doing Waylay and Jet from Sissy State Punks. Waylay is kind of typically seen as Jet's replacement. If you're playing Waylay, you don't really need to play Jet because the refraction does a similar thing. The kind of that light speed does a similar aspect of it, but not going to be the case here. And actually, speaking of not going to be the case, we've already got a very aggressive setup here from Tezix. He's good for one. Chazza immediately answering back, and Cullum already down at that B site quite a long way, gets a frag, but it looks like the kills are very much going the side of the attackers at the moment. Of course, that being site holders.
Well, that was a very underwhelming start. Let's see now with this overheal. I don't think it's going to be able to use it too much, but it will be a 2v3 retake, although the spike's not been planted yet.
It has not. We're just waiting for it now, but they very, very clear, very open A site for them. And as you said, Waxing, quite just a small bit of a slow start to it there. Just the gunfight's kind of just starting, finishing. No real fanfare to it at all. Bit underwhelming, as you said, but the alarm bot now going off. One of the members of SSP, the Clove, being found out. And the Fade, of course, right behind them as well. And very, very good crossfire set up here from Rin and Chazza. And can't imagine you survive this if you swing.
That's an even retake now. The Sheriff will not come through the ghost kill. And now look at the HP advantage though. Maxim is alone and gets the first kill easy. Throws out the reveal. being patient. Broken right away. The time is ticking. They're running out of time. The spike will not be defused even if they get the kill. Maxim will actually not even fall there. And it's the first round on the board. And it was closer than it should have been looking at the initial points of this round, Dante.
Yeah, I was about to say there, depending on how that went, that Chaza may have like the over zealousness there to try and get that frag. Chaza could have easily actually been the difference maker for his own team, whether they won or lost their SSP. Playing that retake decently enough, but it was down to Chaza just getting a bit overzealous, over aggressive on that swing, and then Rin following off the back. Still, no matter what happens, Maxim able to get the frag, able to defeat their counterpart in the gun battle and get the first round on the board now. And we typically see usually a very aggressive attack because of that advantage from the economy, but so far it seems to just be a patient attack, and it's the defenders walking into the grinder.
Can we get a whoa decapitation there? That's a nice outlaw kill. Let's see, this Waylay, can he get something nice? A tag with the burst, gets the kill. Can he pick up the outlaw? He's gonna get cornered in, no bullets in, doesn't even switch in time. And now, 4 players to the next round. Let's see how their economy is gonna look like and what weaponry they have.
Good weaponry. We've been talking about this beforehand with the Bandit coming through. Of course, that's the new gun been introduced. Of course, none of the teams are allowed to buy it, and they're not allowed to use it for the purposes of a round. But the economy there, the Outlaw showing its kind of power, showing its place in the meta, just as that kind of half buy in between, you know, the full buy and like a Marshall or something. We're seeing the strength of it come through. Bandit might be doing the same thing once it is allowed into the regulation season. But for the meantime, another aggressive defense coming through from SSP. It's a good tag from Cullum for 140, but it's actually Tenkai all the way in his own towards that B site, the first one to go down.
There's a lot of a clear in A. They're kind of giving up the site, potentially playing for a post-spawn. They will hear the orb being picked up here. Maxim needs 1 kill, and then the Nightfall will be available. Ooh, nice kill from the Clove here, Rin. Only a stinger at that distance, couldn't find more than some damage. But they've rerouted fully, and they're gonna try to come on this side of the map. Let's see. Fade. Off angle, gets an easy headshot, and this is slowly heading towards a flawless round unless Maxim can find an opening. Yes, he can.
Yeah, the reloading in Valorant is a loud noise. It's very much if you're playing those angles like that, you will give yourself away. And I've actually, it's maybe been a thing for a while, but I've started seeing players really go for like the reload and then quickly swap back to their gun to kind of bait out a swing, like bait out that opposition. It's really clean. It's really nice to see it come down, and Cullum actually has the advantage here. He was dealing with lower health players, so the Outlaw could have been a one-tap, but it's Tezix with a beautiful one instead. That was through dugout.
That was a weird angle. I didn't even know where the headshot came through, because he was on the corner. He wasn't behind either of the walls, like perpendicularly per se, but it doesn't matter. It was a bonus round. Let's not read too much into it. They only dropped 1 weapon, and now this is where the things will get rolling. And I'm looking at the attackers. They've got already the Nightfall that we mentioned last round, and even Callum very close to a Blazestorm. So let's see what the approach to this round will be. 3 players towards B long and 2 holding passive in mid, but it's Waylay trying to show us why it's been picked, and yeah, just goes back because that's what Waylay does.
Oh, but that's not what Chamber wants to do. Chamber cannot afford to fall down, and it's SSP. This Fade has been the man of the hour so far. The Nightfall online, an excellent first frag as well. Yes, well, not first frag, I suppose. It was a long time ago that Nervia fell, but speaking of it as a more recent development, and it is a pivot towards the B site here. The Clove smoke dissipates, but the position here from the defense side from SSP is really, really good.
Big cell spot.
Face your fear.
Nightfall coming in, not clearing behind. That's a nice angle here. Getting the kill. In a good position. Does not break the flash. His teammate does break the flash, and that puts the Waylay in a precarious position. But the kills are still going towards him. That's a triple kill from this Fade. My god, that looked like an awful hold, but all the defenders were here, Dante.
Yeah, I was saying that, like, okay, the position's maybe not great, but the fact that you don't have to worry about a rotate at all, the fact that you've got all of your teammates ready just to immediately fight back on that B site, I mean, we've seen the power of it there. It was also just down to some clean Guardian shooting and maybe a bit of disrespect on the Yoru flash, because the flashes were played perfectly by Tenkai, to be honest. A little bit of a mistake, as you said, shooting the clone, but, I mean, Tenkai and co, they played off of it perfectly. It just did not matter. You could not hold the site forever, it turns out, I guess.
If it was the Fade that got the clone kill, is because he wanted a semi-ace. That's why I went for the 4 kill.
That's what it was, just team killing for the stats. That's what it's come to. That's what the Surge has come to.
Sounds like my ranked games. Bladestorm wasted, couldn't find a kill, and now they're all caught in a corner. Actually, the Killjoy dies first. That was a bit of a wallbang. Maxime, this guy, he's found so many kills in this position with the Fade. Now actually picks up the Phantom, and I gotta wonder, why was the Jet playing so far up front by herself?
So you'd want to.
Oh, never mind. They broke the trap anyway, so they're gonna know they're there.
No, this is the thing with that kind of, we were talking about the Waylay Jet, where you have to agree on these pushes, because you have someone like Waylay can back up Jet or vice versa, but if you're hesitant on those plays, or if there's a miscommunication, then all of a sudden both of you are kind of stranded. Speaking of stranded, it's a spike tap here, but look at where the Waylay is. The Nightfall, well, it literally falls, and with that, a lot of HP dwindles because of it. Chazza doesn't care about his low HP value, though. Happy to take the head off the Clove. Waylay follows suit. Cullum absolutely clean with the Sheriff. Maybe they don't need a full buy. Maybe these lower buys are enough. They're a second to third shot. Okay, SSP not able. Z not able to survive, but Nervia uses the distraction perfectly just to walk through. But there's still 3 members left here. Only 1 now for the defense, and a defuse still needing to be done. I don't see this happening, Waxon.
I think that's a kill. I gotta say, I gotta correct you here. I don't think this was a half buy. I think this was just a bunch of sharing. Oh, maybe, okay, there was a few small shields, but like, that's a tragic round for the defenders. You can't afford to lose rounds like that. And the problem is, I guess they felt more confident in their utility by allowing the spike to get planted, but realistically, you have the weapon advantage. You should be playing those long-range duels and try to be oppressive. And, Valorant has the luxury. You can see your opponent's economy.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong there. Apologies.
Unless it was patched yesterday.
No, it was not. It was not. I promise you can still see the economy. And speaking of seeing, Nervia finds Cullum there just a little bit faster on the shot. And apologies, thank you for Waxon if I did at all miscommunicate on it. I did say I would spread misinformation over the internet at some point today, and it seems that has been done. My quota has been filled. But yeah, as you said, it's a very pivotal round. You're only getting Sheriffs. You're only against Sheriffs. Surely you meant to win that, but no. Guess if you've got clean headshots, a Sheriff doesn't matter. And the back and forths actually looking a little bit like Novo want to be taking this on, or Rin at least wants to be taking this on.
Slowly but surely finding some space despite the player disadvantage. This might be the element is right, but look at the Astras holding the flank, not even sweating Chazza. Oh. Might have a little bit of it caught by timing here. Playing behind the pillar perfectly. Oh, Faye doesn't check it. That's it. No! Someone played the Pink Panther song. What's happening?
Chazza to your right!
This could be a disaster. Why is the Yoru looking behind, though? Okay, Chazza turned around. But even the Yoru was checking flank, so that's fine.
I mean, whether Tenkai should have been or not, but oh my days, okay. Never mind, okay, the moment has passed. I'm completely starstruck by that. It does go the way of sight hold for that, but yeah, just a real teeth clencher right there. The Yoru walks past. The Fade walks past. I disagree with Tenkai turning around. I mean, I guess, but like,
yeah, because we wanted to see the action happen. We wanted the action to happen, that's why.
Yeah, that's true, I suppose. And there's only one way to do that, and that is to have your teammate look at an angle that should already be more than held down. But either way, being held down by site holders, very literally 4 and 2 for them. A lot of ultimates online, though, for SSP, and they seem to have no qualms about using them.
Nope, missing the big shot. We'll have a second opportunity here, and gets it. Okay, missing once. but not enough to get on the side. Oh, Blaze Storm. Oh, okay. Rin punishing that overzealous Jet, to say the least. And now it's a 4v4. There's a Bucky here, a second Bucky. We haven't gotten a kill the first time when the defenders purchased it. Maybe we're gonna get a bit more fortunate now to see some Bucky action. You know me. I love my gimmick guns.
Who knows? Maybe you'll find the Bandit. Maybe the Bandit ends up kind of becoming one of those gimmick guns, but works nonetheless. And SSP here, you got to work now if you can. It's a wide swing from Rin and just really fast at just shutting down the Bucky. No concerns there. Cosmic Divide, Lockdown, and Nightfall all online for the site holders here as they get the spike down and then continue to do exactly that. The Cosmic Divide creating such a hassle for SSP. Their guns as well not really doing them any extra favors. Tour de Force of course is nice, but these are all pretty close angles at this stage. Cosmic Divide just being waited out until it crumbles, but even then you have to do all of this work to get on site and take these gunfights.
I think I only has a sheriff here. Never mind, it's not only a sheriff, it's the sheriff. The sheriff is in town. We couldn't catch it on screen, but we can definitely understand what happened. As Tenkai is still very much playing up close. Doesn't even want to swap to the Bucky for my entertainment, but it's going to be Rin on the flank with the 4K, getting the 5th on the board. And I know we said it's a fairly even map. Either team could... Okay, that's what I meant to say. We need a tactical timeout, because 5-2 is looking rough already, basically.
Yeah, that's... I mean, you have these for a reason. And Wax, and I think me and you have both been on casts where, like, both of us have been kind of itching towards that timeout. You know, why is it not being used? Why is it maybe not being respected? Because it's a very powerful tool. It's a very powerful piece of kit. You get to talk to your coach about what's happening, what strats that maybe you still haven't played, what executes that maybe you've rehearsed but maybe aren't going the way that you initially planned. There's a lot of stuff to be able to discuss about this. And right now, I think what SSP are struggling with is they're trying to be too proactive on their defense, and it's actually backfiring on them and giving site holders a lot of presence in the rest of the map.
It's also one of those things that you can use to like break the momentum of your team. Is that's one of the reasons a lot of sport coaches use it to kind of disrupt a little bit of their opponent's momentum. So it's a good time. We often, even if we do see it, Dante, we talk about the fact, oh, we should have been earlier. I think this is the perfect time.
Yes, there's no hesitation here. This is exactly the moment where you do want to, because we've seen teams use it before where it's like the last round of the half. Like maybe the second last round.
They're 10-1 down.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and you're going like this could easily like 9-3 isn't, if you're 3-9 down, it's not much better, but it's a lot better than, you know, 11-1 or 10-2 down. So that is a big deal here. And speaking of this aggressive defense I've been talking about, but Nervia able to find his Tezix finds theirs, and a third as well for the Waylay. I did say about this aggressive defense, but if you're able to land shots like that, it can pivot to a quite profitable margin.
It was also collective aggressiveness, and it was a change of pace because they did it way earlier in the round and clearly caught the attackers by surprise. And now the question is, what are you going to do? Because you've got plenty of money. There's no save here in the mind of the attackers. And look, they're going to cross. They are heading towards the right side. Actually, they're going to be pushing this Clove. They still abandon the angle. Going to crouch his way out of there. And now Maxime is actually calling a retreat. That's quite surprising. And they're going to get potentially caught. Easy headshot for the first kill. Second, going his way. Okay, pulling out the utility. Losing one in the process. But still, 5 rounds is where they're going to stop as we get number 3 for the defenders.
What I will say is, Wax, and you know me as this, it's actually better that Tezix gets the kill, because Tezix doesn't have Blade Storm, and the Waylay has the convergent path, so if you're going from an alt point stance, it is technically better that Tezix gets that frag. Of course, it's, you know, better for economy, better for stats, better for basically everything else, had it just been the Waylay, but if you're going from an alt economy standpoint, then Tezix getting that frag is a big deal, and we'll see if they continue that. You said it was very collective aggression from the defense last time. This time not as much, a little bit more patience from them. I say that though. Still the Fade sitting on the staircase to A main, but that will be all she wrote. She rotates back towards the market stall, and it's a bit quiet now as we get in properly to the 9th round.
It was a great call from the attackers here to just push back the A-side defenders, and you know that's what the operator would like, to take as much space on the map as possible, but couldn't because he got flashed off the angle, had to use the TP and go back. Yeah, great call. They lost a round, but they still seem very aware of the way they want to approach this next couple of rounds of the first half.
You should run.
They do indeed. Oh, in the lockdown, that little angle as well, going to be kept safe. No real utility to destroy that either. So as long as the patience is played from the attacking side, from site holders, but Cullum on the lurk here, playing it very nicely, doesn't find the shot, and the patience actually screw your lockdown. We don't mind sacrificing one of our players if we can get 2 in the process, and the recovery as well from the lockdown will be coming through. So while a very clean plan for an execute, dismantled equally, if not even cleaner, by SSP.
Maxim brings way to the side, and Chasa will find the kill instant and resurrect from the 12. They're swinging in and walking into the crosshair, and it's a great hold as this tactical timeout has done wonders already. 2 very nice rounds from the defenders.
Excellent crossfires and such as well. Like, to not worry about the lockdown and not play in angles that give the lockdown all that value. Like, that is the lockdown gone. What's actually a big thing for SSP, they, unless Rin just pops off insanely in these next couple of rounds, you don't have to worry about lockdown. Unless the site holders decide to completely pivot and play around the all orbs, you're not going to need to worry about the lockdown. And there's a reason that's such a big statement. It's a hugely powerful ultimate. Speaking of not having to worry, actually. Whoa. Okay, just walk in and end the round before it even starts. That's a good way to shut it down. A little bit of slowdown now. The Nightfall pop.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. could have been caught there. Could have been surprised, but no, it's gonna be the open side in Neria. Doesn't have anything. Wait, what? Why? Where's the gun?
Yeah, that's a good question. 6.5K on the credits as well. That's
and no ulti. And 4 teammates dead. Like, you know, there's like multiple ways in which the chamber could have had a gun there.
Yeah, I mean, the gunfight as well, the fight was in mid. Like, all the guns are in mid. It's not as if it was, like, on site and it was awkward, you know. That's, like, you've got time to pivot, you've got time to rotate, get a gun. Maybe just wanting to maybe rush it, maybe just accepting defeat that round was lost, which, statistically speaking, yes, it's a 3 versus 1. You need to go and get a gun and the spike's still planted, but you can't be giving up rounds just like that. You gotta, you know, the mental has to be kept. You have to contain that self, because at the end of the day, this is for a $2,500 prize pool, and if you want that, you've got to prove yourself at all aspects of this game, even if it's not going your way.
Dimensional drift. Let's see how much impact Tenkai will have. He's caught in the position. He's gonna actually find the angle. They have the side, but they lost 2 in the process. Maxim will finally trade 1. What a swing from this Waylay. Continuing aggressive, dashing in, jumping back, spotting 1. Another headshot. Spike doesn't even get planted.
I mean, very. What started as well as such an explosive kind of attack ended up being a very clean defense as well. The Waylay, I mean, we were talking about that, the waves, the light speed into the refract just again and again. The Waylay just having a lot of control, a lot of back and forth, and becoming what essentially was like old style Jet, where she just gets a kill, dashes away, gets a kill, dashes away. Yeah. Very much proving to be that kind of playstyle, and all of a sudden SSP looking very very poised to potentially get an equalized scoreline of 6-6.
Look at the control they took in mid already. They've got all the information. Yes, they're going to hit A, but the players will be on their tail, and the rotation's coming, and the double kill will halt the aggressive push. Rain finds 1, but is it going to be sufficient? Chaza with the second, but that was a triple from the Clove. Okay, the wall. Look at the Jet. This is unwinnable unless Tizix misses a lot. Okay, so misses a bit, but still gets the kill, and now Maxim doesn't have the timing, loses the duel, and it will be 6-6.
A 6-6 split, ladies and gentlemen. No concerns with that at all. No hesitations. Just a very clean start from an attack, very, very good start from the attack, and then an excellent pivot from SSP off the back of that timeout. Whatever was being said, absolute gold dust being poured into the ears of these players. Don't actually do that, that's very distracting. But the point is, whatever was said absolutely turned them on to an entire different side of this game. The Bandit being shown off, again, will need to be refunded, of course, before the round starts, I should say, but at the very least, nice getting that gun to finally see it in action.
Ten seconds to go until the second half, and I like this, you know, from that whatever 5-2 to 6-6, kind of proving that we know what we're talking about, Dante, when we said this map is fairly even. Tenkai, he's gonna have the opportunity to shine here. Colin is behind him, the dash is available, will throw the first shot, and now Tenkai will be the element of surprise. Can he catch someone? Gets the first one, TP out, not quite there, but Colin comes in with the second double. Ooh, tag in, slow down, and he will die to Nirvia. But Rin, fast on the rotate. Spike gets faked. Now full committed. 3 versus 2. They're waiting for the rest of the squad. They know they have the player advantage. That's why we see this Waylay trying to get on site. Doesn't get the first, and it's gonna be a 1v1 somehow. The Chaza. It's the numbers game. That's why they waited for each other. They allowed the spike plant, and then trading is the way to go if you want to clutch up those rounds.
Play the crossfires, play the angles. We've always kind of said here, and I've always said it, we'll always say it again, in tactical shooters like this, whether it's Valorant, whether it's something else, never give your opponents a fair fight. Never give your opponents a fair fight. And ladies and gentlemen, look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, a big excitement. I was about to say it. I was hoping I would be able to beat it, but EVC is coming back to LAN, ladies and gentlemen. So another big reason for these players to be getting invested. Not only do you get the prize pool, you now get to play in the LAN itself. Of course, as it says, more details will be coming out later on about that. But if that doesn't get the players a little bit more excited, you know, for that prize pool separately, then I'm sure the possibility of playing at a LAN will do just that. And as we talk of, oh my god, okay, just an that's a guillotine. A guillotine was just placed at Art, and Rin and Maxim just let her rip.
What a start to 2026 with this announcement. Okay.
Oh!
Let's calm down a little bit. Nice shots in the chat already. I think it was meant to be for the teammate, but with that double kill, they still have a player disadvantage, but it's looking a lot more doable now. See how it goes. The spike gets planted. The stinger doesn't really manage to find that kill. That was a bit of a wild spray control, but the classic and the sheriff will get the round conversion. But those sheriff kills, goodness gracious, I have to say, what was that about?
Yeah, that's gonna be a little clip. No doubt about it there. That will be clipped and shipped off. What a way to celebrate the confirmation of an EVC LAN. Yeah, it's 2 very quick headshots indeed. But what I want to say, Waxon, is this was the exact momentum that that was initially shown by Sighthold. You know, they got the first couple of rounds. It was looking very clean. They have to survive. I'm not even waiting to see what happens yet until that timeout gets called, because that's, it seems, when SSP really start to turn the heat up.
Oh, wait. We got a judge on the attack side. Poggers in the chat. Hello. Yes, please. Not gonna get any early action there. And the Bucky? Okay, I respect that, Tenkai, but and the Bucky, so they swapped it out for the judge. It wasn't, oh my god, it's a Bucky off. It's in double doors. It's about to happen. Tenkai, you're a madman, gets the first, the second will go on the other side, and that's the perfect scenario. The double Bucky kill, 1 for each side.
We talked about refrags, we talked about crossfires. A Bucky is the gun itself to show you why that is important, because while the gun is being cocked and the shell being loaded, unfortunately a bullet to the face indeed. But what that's actually done is that's forced a decent pivot away from site holders here. In fact, they are not holding this site. The only thing really for it right now is the alarm bot. Rin pivoting towards it, and actually off the back of this little information in the Clove smokes, now we're starting to see the call that the rotate should be coming through. Rin sees the Waylay, immediately ignores it, opts for a much easier frag instead, and the Clove not dead yet, but is going to have to find a frag to try and stay that way, and there's no one near them at all. This is a waste of an ult, unfortunate for them.
Well, bought a bit of time, maybe not completely wasted, right? Forced the defenders to slow down their retake. As they didn't know where the Clove will be heading to. I mean, they do have headphones, so I assume the sound was there. Maxime versus Nirvia. Oh, maybe a bit too early. He was trying to get an off timing. Oh, Outlaw will get spotted. Flock to the Sheriff. What is Callum doing? Oh my god, and now in a 1v3 has to play the time. You don't need to swing for that one. Will actually play it to perfection. Gets the double. That's a hat trick overall. Needs to wait for the spike tap, and it's Maxime again. The safe pair of hands. Does he have enough time?
It's. I think.
Not.
I think.
No.
I think.
No.
Oh my days. 0.17. That's like one of the first times. While obviously, as a caster, get things wrong, can't be right 100% of the time. What I've always valued myself on is saying if I got the spike defuse wrong or not, and that's one of the few times I've got it wrong. So very nicely played from Maxim there. Just the absolute patience, just to drag out as much as possible, and it is going to be enough there to try and nicely paid from Z, I should say, actually. Maxim trying his best, but it's Z who just gets the timer enough to get the spike to detonate. And now these rounds are about to equalize yet again, ladies and gentlemen. Tenkai running in with the AWP. He's aiming too high. That's you aim like that for a Marshall. The AWP gives you the that room to kind of make the miss, but instead it's going to be 1-for-1. And actually, oh my god, okay, it's all over. Never mind, hush my mouth.
That's what happens when you say it's a 1-for-1. Nirvia alone in a world of Hearth might have found the opening, but what? At what cost? Hello? No! Not like this.
That's pretty heartbreaking for Nirvia. That's pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate. I mean, that's you know, a kind way of saying it. I think that was absolutely disgusting.
Yep.
But they will manage to keep the double round lead.
Recalling my bot.
As I have to say, I don't even know how the economy of the terrorists looks like. Yeah, it's in the dumpster, so they will have to go for a half buy here. We should be looking at a 10-7, but you know, wilder things have happened, especially when the judge is in play.
I was about to say there's a Bucky in hand. Are you
It's
sure
the
about
Bucky
that?
again.
Oh
That's
yeah,
the
there's
judge,
I swear it was a bucket. We're about to see whenever it fires, if we can, but for the moment, nothing need to be fired just yet. Cullum fired out of this round. The absolute aggression from the foreman there, even with the lower buy. Oh, there it is! I told you. I don't lie.
Bucky.
I don't lie.
No, but I thought the Waylay hit the judge, so maybe there's both. Well, she has.
Oh well, I've
so clearly no.
Yeah. There's surely a gun being upgraded here, and what they're kind of committing to this. They've got the ults, they've got the Waylay, they've got the Convergent Pass and the Nightfall, but meeting them on the other side, Cosmic Divide and a Lockdown, they seem confident, though. It looks like SSP are going to go for this push.
Will it work? Well, there's 4 defenders waiting for them here, and this Odin from Maxime could do a lot of damage, trying to spot someone on the jump peak. Doesn't see anyone just yet. The Jet might just give away their position, and that's gonna allow a perfect lineup for Maxime. T6, you can't do that. He didn't clear it all, and now it's gonna be a third going his way. Easy freebie for Maxime. Now it's a 1v4 needed from the Waylay. Gets the first. Now it gets sprayed out for Maxime, who finds the fourth through the wall. Has seen a total of zero opponents this round and killed 4 of them.
The power of the... I mean, that's how people thought Corrode would be played. And arguably, it sometimes is. But here we go. Here we go, Waxen. This was the difference maker in the first half. Will it be the difference maker again? And it's basically the exact same kind of difference maker, if I'm not wrong. We've got 3 rounds, maybe 4... Yeah, 3 rounds back-to-back for site holders, and then SSP deciding to pop the hold, deciding to kill the momentum, and then all of a sudden they start killing a lot more than just momentum.
At least, again, that previous round was a half investment, or maybe not even that, and they still managed to get on side without planting the spike, I think. But it shows that there's still plays for them to be made, and if they have the equal weaponry and they execute it properly, I think there's still hope.
Oh, there's never not hope in Valorant. If you're a fan of Fnatic, I think they've proved that all too well. But there is never lost hope in Valorant. There is always that possibility to come back. And mental's a big thing. Mental is a massive, massive thing. We're still at best of ones, so like endurance and... Well, mental's still a big thing in best of ones, but usually you don't end up getting to tilted, I guess, would be unprofessional a word, but the game doesn't get to you as much in a best of one. There isn't enough time unless you get like really into the nitty gritty, like overtimes and then, you know, kind of second overtimes and such. But when the best of threes and stuff start coming online, that endurance, that motivation, that's when mental differences can be a big thing. And these teams have to make sure they're staying composed for these best of ones, otherwise the best of threes will be a struggle for them here. And speaking of a struggle, Tenkai and Nervia have been seeing each other time and time again at this angle. It is a standoff for B long. Oh, come on! Come
He
on!
loses it again.
Was that two
man.
Vandal shots? Was that two Vandal shots? Because that was bullet penetration. I'm pretty sure an op shot tagged Tenkai and he fired back with two Vandal shots, or vice versa. Sorry, the other way around.
It's not
Either
the
way.
first time Tenkai loses that with an op versus a Vandal, which is incredible work. This time they look like they will be converting it. Last time we had an opening from the Vandal along versus an Operator. It did not go in their way. I mean, maybe I might be counting my ducks too early, but as Chaza is still alive and hungry for more. But it shouldn't happen.
I mean, shouldn't definitely in terms of statistics, and it looks like even site holders are in agreement with you, Wax, and they just want to keep these guns. I mean, Odin's 3,200 or maybe even more expensive now, but around that ballpark. So, you know, not really a gun you can afford to lose. The refract comes through. Tezix just takes that offering for what it is, essentially a free kill. No hesitation there, a little bit of econ damage done, but with 3 ultimates online for the attackers, the round now gained for them. Waxing, the timeout might have worked.
Well, it's too early. It's too early. Don't say that.
Okay,
yet.
okay.
We don't know.
Okay,
We don't know
okay,
yet.
okay.
Let's give it a bit more.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
If they win the next 2 rounds, if it goes back to a 10-0, I'll say the timeouts the name of the game, the secret of winning in the tournament. But I like this. Up for both sides, although clearly Nervia doesn't need it.
Find you.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Sometimes the op just doesn't. That's the thing. Sometimes, yeah, you miss your shots, but there are times where just your opponents are playing in a way that the op never gets its value, that you can never find the shots. And Tenkai and Nervia just, they know. We can see the wall outlines, obviously, but I believe even they can see the outlines just for that moment. They know that both of them are just staring at each other, waiting for the one person to get antsy. But it's all down off the rest of these commitments. It's all down to the rest of these engagements. And the double door with the molly planted at that to go off once the turret goes, that's going to be the big deal. The pre-fire's good, though. Right, the molly, Tenkai's distracted! And because of that, Nervia takes him!
I think we're looking at, what, 3-0? 4-0 for Nervia there? I think I might just need to change sides, man. They're still leading by 2 rounds, but it must feel bad.
Heartbreaking for him, and now because of that, it's all quiet on the B front, but defense looks still like they're rotating towards it, which it would be the correct call. There is that incredibly long lurk from Z, but Maxim, these two have been meeting each other as well. It's very much been Nervia and Tenkai versus the 2 fades versus each other. 30 seconds left as well. There's going to have to be a decision made.
They're getting on site. Rin finds the first before he falls. Chaza laying off angle. They find the kill. Maxime, another one indoors, and has to be Nervia. He needs to go for a 4K if he wants to convert this round, and he's not getting the opportunity. The time is running low. 10 seconds. Spike doesn't get planted. Another fake, forcing Maxime out. Spike still not planted yet. 4 seconds. This is it. He lost the round. It will be 11-8, and now he's getting flanked. Callum's about to find an easy kill. And they lose the operator as well. That's a bit of a tragedy here, Dante.
Yeah, that's shaky. That's shaky, especially because that's the first time that the timer's really been like relevant to these games, and we're on to the 19th round. It took 18 rounds for the timer to really start to play an impact, and it can only really take one time for the timer to be impactful. I'm saying the word time so much it's starting to lose meaning, but that can happen once, and then all of a sudden you're in your head that you need to play fast, that we ran out of time once, we don't want to do it again, and then that causes more mistakes. So they have to keep the mental good. They can't afford to let this away from them now, and Tenkai maybe lives up to himself. He finally manages to win the fight versus Nervia, and that's a huge frag for him as he gets out scot-free.
This should be a fairly clear-cut round, but let's see if Tizix could find something with the Blade Storm. We haven't seen many successful Blade Storms this map. They say up short, sorry. Wrong game. Oh, it's Chaza swinging out, finding one. The Blade Storm doesn't get anything. It's Chaza finds a second and a third, and it's going to be a flawless round to get in a position of having 4 map and match points, as it is a best of 1 for the defenders.
Yeah, it's looking, especially with three ultimates as strong as that. Like, let's just say, all that really Sighthold could just leave. Like, Sighthold could just stand and spawn until SSP get onto site and then just retake. Like, they've got Lockdown, Nightfall, and Cosmic Divide. The economy, the buy for SSP is not looking great either, as we can see. This is a very, very uphill struggle for them. Of course, they have to. I mean, it's do or die, but it is not looking solid for them.
This could be the beginning of the end. Let's look at the setup here, one behind the other, about to decapitate 2 attackers. Tazix gets 1. Right now, oh, a bit of a miss here from Maxim. Could get overwhelmed by numbers, but the Odin, more than potent to find that kill. Stands the ground. They get stacked down to 14. But as long as he's alive, they will have the numbers advantage. Look at Nervia all the way, slowly rotating through mid. Doesn't have the easiest chance here. There is a alarm bot on the floor. Triggers it. Rin still playing. Doesn't want to swing off of it just yet. He's gonna have a timing. Oh, I say that, but the headhunter finds the body, but the kill's a kill. And now they have the HP advantage.
Oh, and who it is? Who is it again? Oh! Nervia walks away! The victor again! Nervia and Tenkai are just going back and forth on it, and as you said, Wax, it seems to be Nervia that just keeps walking away with it, even if there's not much of a conversion sometimes for that initial frag. I think Nervia can be very, very pleased with himself that he's put a thorn in Tenkai's side. The bomb now down. It's not Chaza, sorry, but Maxim only on like 10 HP as well. Yeah, 14, so even with all this utility, 1 stray bullet will put him down. Him and Chaza having to do a lot to retake this. They could play it patiently if they so want. Again, 3 more rounds for them before they have to really worry about any kind of overtime prospects or something. The Nightfall, just to try and keep Chaza and Co held back, but he is not deterred. He is holding W.
And Nervia swings out, gets the third. Chaza will punish him after killing 3 of his teammates. But that was such a nice round here, and there is still hope. 4 round advantage to win the map has been reduced to 3, but they need to do it once again, and they invested a lot of ultimates in that one, Dante. They don't have the luxury of that, and they have to run it into 3 defender ultimates. And I gotta say, all 3 of them are very potent for whatever you want to do. Maybe play aggressive, maybe play the retake. It's gonna be a tough one here for the attackers, but maybe if they can explode and take control of the A site,
Bring them down.
they might have success.
Big maybe. Oh, they keep meeting. They are star-crossed lovers. They are destined to meet in every reality, every site. Tenkai manages to get out. No concerns there. What I will say is that you mentioned the Cosmic Divide. We've seen that before. It go the wrong way. Like, Cosmic Divide is used by like the team, and then it's the opposition that actually get more value out of it. We'll see if that's going to be the case. The frags initially looking good for SSP, but they've now been equalized. It's 1 versus 2. That's all that's left, but it's Tezix, or it's Cullum, sorry. Cullum, last one standing, finds one with the op. Cloudburst didn't need to, of course, pop it, but he's going to find the second. The flick, nearly out of this world, but it's Cullum that's the one sent out of it for this round at the least, and we're not done just yet.
That was close from Callum, almost made it happen. He's had, I guess, a more quiet game than usually, but still, he almost stepped up there for his team in that 1v2, couldn't quite convert it. Yeah, 13 and 18, which again, I think we usually see Callum frag way more than this, right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, Callum's been Callum definitely, at least at the start of the game as well. He was having a much stronger first half. Seems to have just kind of tailed off at the moment. It's not too surprising. Duelists always kind of get the flack for like having a dominant first half and then a difficult second one. But if you started on attack, which is kind of Duelist's entire existence is to do that, then yeah, there is a bit of an explanation for it. But speaking of an attack, getting your Clove gunned down by that Odin yet again. Maxim's been refusing to let go of it. And to be honest, he's making it work.
And they've got the player advantage, and Maxim is down to low HP again. But look at the rotation. Look at the information Callum has all the way in B. This is going to be a perfect Nightfall connecting to 3 attackers. And now Maxim in the corner, still spraying down, gets half of the HP off of the Jet. Tenkai will find a kill. Chaza still alive. Will hear the spike planted, swings out, loses the duel. But there is a lockdown available. That's going to be the key piece of utility for this retake.
Portal closed.
Yeah, Cosmic Divide goes down. Lockdown goes up. 10 seconds left. But Amian is really pretty safe right now. It's being held by Nervia as well. Not sure exactly what gun he's got on him, but either way, yeah, it is that operator. It's going to find maybe its value.
Gets the kill.
Falls because of it. Yeah, it's a good kill. Cullum's pushed him off. Where's the rest of the... Where's the rest of the team? Guys, Tenkai's just defusing.
You're running out of time! They need to get there!
Guys,
they got
Tenkai's just defusing! Oh no! What? What happened? What blunder? What communication blunder could have possibly happened? You have 3 people alive and Tenkai just defuses.
I mean, that is the strength of the lockdown. We often talk about saving these ultimates for the retakes, and we mentioned it, I think I mentioned it like 3 rounds ago. They've been saving it for a while, and they find the opportunity to use it there, and that was what's needed. Zoned out the attackers far enough, and then they couldn't just get back there in time. It was kind of an anticlimactic ending, although beautiful. I feel like I would have liked to see one more round.
No, I would have as well. I was really enjoying the back and forth, and I was starting to really believe we were going to see an overtime. I think just to build off of what you said, Wax, and I mean, lockdown does give you that time, and sometimes teams clearly here incorrectly believe they've got more time than they do to get a rotate, to get a reposition, to take these angles properly. And as we look at the performance here from these players, I mean, from everyone involved, not too surprised to see Chaz up at the top.
No, Chazza had a hell of a performance, but I gotta say, for me, I don't know if he was the standout player. I think it was Maxime that for me felt like that safe pair of hands a bit more with the clutches. Of course, obviously less first bloods, and I'm not even looking at the numbers, 25 to 22 kills. I just felt like every single time we saw Maxime in the kill feed, he was converting into round victories. Whereas Chazza, he had a couple of exit frags. He had a few retake attempts that weren't quite successful. So for me, if I would have to give my MVP, I think I would have to choose Maxime. And it might just be due to the fact that he's the Odin player.
He did a lot with that Odin, and we do actually have a highlight for him because Maxim has been doing a lot of good work for his team so far, like coming through it. So we will probably have that up in just a moment as well. Yeah, a really anticlimactic end, but a really fun set nonetheless. I think a really good showcase of how Pearl has changed, how Pearl is updated, how teams have started to really approach it. And honestly, as much as, we talked about like Maxime and everything, we have to talk about the 1v1s of Nervia and Tenkai as well. We'll talk about that just after we look at Maxime. That's a very impressive scoreline for him.
Yeah, and don't judge the headshot rate, guys. That is the Odin player, right? if you would have anything above 15% headshot while rocking the Odin most rounds, I would have been questioning how is he practicing this. But yeah, for me, Maxime, absolutely incredible. Casted 3 Nightfalls, and of course, a lot of his Nightfalls were impressive. Not just like to suppress the opponents or to retake the bomb site, but even just to zone out certain portions of the map and then use that to his advantage. Great play all around. And honestly, I think both teams have a lot more in tank for the rest of 2026.
For the rest of 2026 and for the rest of the Surge, I mean, we are still more than comfortable in it. We are not done yet. We got a lot of teams here, ladies and gentlemen. It was like 110 when Puffo and I, Puffo and I went through for the pre-show to get the brackets all set up, and I mean, that was like an hour and a half of just picking names, essentially. Like, that's how many teams we've got here. So there's still plenty rounds left to go before we even get into like the playoff stage. So we'll still be keeping you comfortable and up to date with that as well, ladies and gentlemen. Should be over the next few days just before we get the best of threes up and coming. But yeah, I mean, Waxon, that has brought us to the end. We have managed to comfortably actually come back on time, despite the little bit of a delay initially. But yeah, just before we bounce off, I guess, anything you would love to say to the beautiful people at home?
Oh, thank you all for tuning in. This is you are the ones that make it possible, and like I said, 2026. What a way to kick things off, and I think this is clearly just the beginning of all of the action coming your way this year.
Yeah, it really is, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll have a bunch more for the Surge coming up over the next couple of days. Best of ones, I believe. The final ones are tomorrow. Then we move on to the best of threes. So please do keep tuned in for that. Thank you all as well. Thank you to my lovely selection of casters that are all safe. And I haven't done anything to them because we started with the accusations. Okay. You know what? Pass. Yeah, pass off your paranoia in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. What's Dante done with his co-casters? But for the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, a big shout out to the production as well. Always a pleasure. They did a lot of good work with us. Shout outs to everyone that casted with me, and shout outs to the audience and everyone at home as well. We will see you all tomorrow for more of the Surge 8. But until then, been an absolute blast. Catch you soon.